Welcome to Deep Fat Fried. I'm your host, TJ, and I'm here with Paul and Scotty, and we're about to do an episode, and it's called The Triple Threat. Each one of us brings a new idea, something new into the fold. Today in the break sheet. Terrible. It's not terrible, TJ. You're a cheat, you're a charlatan, you're a reprobate, you're a goddamn nuisance, TJ.
You know what I want you to do, TJ? I want you to learn to do them call letters just like I miss. WNBC. Come on, give it to me now.
WNBC.
Now that's closer now. You almost got it, but listen again. Listen real close. WNBC.
WNBC.
Now you got to go up a little higher there on it, TJ. WNBC. We're not going to have energy with it.
WNBC. No?
Getting close.
You're getting closer. You got to work on it.
Practice.
You got to practice them call letters, all right?
Look in the mirror, TJ. Look in the mirror and do WNBC, TJ.
I love that movie, dude.
Oh, dude, Paul Giamatti is great as a pig vomit.
Yeah, I love when pig vomit, before they get him to come to WNBC, they're all like worried about him. They're like, I don't know, this turn guy, he's a loose cannon, and he's like, I want to promise you something. That boy will be a whipped puppy when I'm through with him. It won't take me 2 shakes of a lamb tail to break that boy. And so, just getting completely fucked out of his job. Oh, I love that movie, dude. That's such a good movie. God damn it. Private Parts.
Yep. Yeah, for a total vanity project, pretty good.
Because Stern eventually was broken by his own hubris or whatever the fuck happened.
Whoa, what the fuck is that? Do you hear that shit?
I don't know. I hear it though.
Oh, what's that?
Say some more shit.
Well, my mic is vibrating.
Better be careful with that shit, man. Them hot mics. Yeah, they shock people for sure.
Well, if this is gonna be a piece of shit, I'm gonna need a new fucking hand mic. Because this one's it's a piece of shit now.
You don't need fucking new hand mic, TJ. What you need to do is make do, TJ. You make do with what you got. Make do with what your daddy gave you.
No.
I don't make do.
Got a perfectly good mic right there in front of you. You make do.
Yeah, this is a perfectly good mic for the stand, but I need a hand mic.
Make do.
Damn it,
No.
TJ.
No.
TJ, why the hell TJ, look here. You left me a lighter here, the only lighter in my studio. You left me a dead lighter, boy. I'll be right back. God damn it, TJ, this lighter dead. I need to find me a better lighter.
What are you fucking talking about, you psycho?
Find me a lighter, TJ.
You're insane. You're fucking insane. Shut up, Scotty.
Fuck you, TJ.
Goddamn piece of shit, man. You believe this motherfucker?
What's going on? What's happening?
What's going on? What's going on is it's a train wreck. Is what's going on.
It
shows a goddamn train wreck. We've been talking for like 5 minutes and literally no one has said a goddamn thing. It's just been like, remember fucking Private Parts? That shit was funny. You know what I mean? So that's what's going on right now.
I love this show. Oh my fucking God, bro.
Hey, you know, man, the fucking the triple threats, a little bit more informal, you know? We do the fucking more formal shows.
The triple threats replaced the much maligned banter-sode, which was my favorite of our content. I liked making the banter-sodes, man.
Yeah, banter-sodes are fun because you don't have to fucking, you just talk about whatever the fuck you want.
Well, yeah, but like all the the highs and the lows are in the banter-sodes, you know what I mean? Our worst episodes of all are banter-sodes, and I think some of our greatest episodes of all are banter-sodes. It just depends on the banter-sode, you know?
Sometimes in the same banter-sode, there's the worst and the best, right?
See, for me, as a businessman, I like the content of the things that I produce to fluctuate wildly. You know what I mean? I like it to go from dog shit to passable. You know what I mean? And then back to dog
all the way. That huge range, like
huge
total dog shit that you have to be a fucking idiot to like, to pretty passable. We're like, all right, that's okay,
acceptable. You know, you got a C+ on that.
You know, why the fuck not? All the way to the fucking the soaring heights of the fucking C+. You know.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. Where the fuck is Scott? Come back with your stupid lighter, Scotty. Come on.
Dude, did I ever tell you when I pissed on that guy's doorway in Hollywood?
No.
I didn't mean to. I was drunk. I was walking back to
I'll tell you a piss story after this, too.
Yeah. I was walking back to the hotel in Hollywood, and I don't know if you've been down like by the whiskey. Well, you've been to the Whiskey A Go-Go before, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I went and saw a shitty band there. What was it? Smile Empty Soul or something?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Some shit like that, but I was there.
So I was drunk, and we were walking back from the Whiskey A Go-Go to our hotel, and there's all these there's like a little neighborhood that's right there. Like that whole like strip, it terminates in like a Y, kind of like you know, whatever they call that. Like, what do they call that? Where it's like the road splits.
Fork.
Yeah, fork. There you go. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. It's like a fork in the road, and like you go like one block, and you're in like a residential area, and it's all these like houses that have these stoops that you have to like walk down steps to get into their house because their houses are kind of built into the side of hills. And so I stopped like by a shrub up on the sidewalk and started pissing. And then all my friends were like, "Oh yeah, dude!" And so like all like 5 or 6 of the people that were with us pissed on this shrub. And I didn't notice until the very end that the piss was running down the end of the shrub thing and just pooling in somebody's front door. Like,
oh man,
8 drunk dude piss just like at the bottom of his stoop when he comes out in the morning. I don't know why I thought of that shit, but I just remembered like the realization moment, and the like, oh, we better get out of here. Like, this is not. There's like an inch and a half of piss on this guy.
We gotta get out of here,
dude. There's this weed shop in Seattle called Uncle Ike's, and it's not. The store's actually not about that, but right next to it is a church at this location. There's like multiple locations, and like I had to take a piss really bad one time. I'm like, fuck, dude, the weed shop's not gonna have a bathroom. So I went around the side of the building, this church, and I pissed on this church. I'm like, well, why the fuck not? Who cares? It's a fucking church. I don't give a shit about pissing on the building. And then I went there one time with Ben, and I'm like, go ahead and do it, dude. Like, there's no one to be Ben even back there. So he whipped out his dick, and someone's like, don't piss on the fucking property here. Don't stop people. We're so sick of fucking people pissing around here. God damn it, get the fuck out of here. I was like, damn, dude, I got away with it, but other people didn't.
So, dude, I got a little piss story. This fucking had this
Isn't every one of your stories a little piss story?
But piss. No, listen. So I was fucking had this I was like in a mother-in-law suite at my dad's house that he had in Baton Rouge for a while. Like he had the main house, and then there was the garage. It was kind of like a semi-open garage. Like the front part had the fucking door and it had the 2 walls, but
you had a room
like
there.
The back was open, and it like opened up to the backyard and stuff. But anyway, so there was the house, the garage, and then my room, which is like a little mother-in-law kind of attached thing. I guess it wasn't a total mother-in-law thing because it didn't have a kitchen or whatever, but it was like a bedroom.
Semi. But yeah, it was separate from the rest of the house.
It was like, perfect for like a guest room or something like that. But I used it as my bedroom and shit, but it didn't have a bathroom. So a lot of times I would just piss outside. But one night I just go out there and I don't know why. It wasn't like out of malice or anything, but for some reason I was just like, I'm just gonna piss on this car. It was like my stepmom's car. So maybe I did hate the bitch. So maybe like on some level I was like
some kind of
acting out against her.
Yeah, that definitely was probably at the heart of that shit. You wouldn't have pissed on somebody's car you hated or you liked. I mean,
that's true. But I don't think it was malicious so much as just like, I don't give a fuck about this cunt. So anyway, I pissed right on her fucking, and I pissed right on her door too. So it was like, yeah, I'm just gonna piss there. And then the next day, you know, my dad's like, did you fucking piss on Natalie's car? I'm like, yeah, I guess I did. She's like, she wants you out. She wants you out. I'm like, damn. Oops.
How'd you get caught pissing on a car? Like, was there still a bunch of...
I guess she just knew. I guess she just like...
That's TJ piss.
That's fucking piss if I ever heard. I mean, she just knew. I mean,
I've walked by TJ's room and I've smelled that smell before.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. TJ used to piss behind the goddamn room too. Like he was caught several times. Like TJ had a weird thing about not pissing in the toilet for a long time. Like he pissed out back. He'd piss in bushes. He'd
piss in the sink. Or were you a sink pisser?
Oh, yeah, dude, TJ was the ultimate. I caught TJ a couple times, like just like
anywhere but the toilet.
Not really in the act, but like he'll be like, looking at the sink or something. Like, TJ, go piss in the fucking toilet. I'm just gonna piss in the toilet and the fucking sink in there. Then it's like, all right, well, it's still disgusting. You didn't realize that, TJ. You can fucking smell it, dude. That's how people knew you were doing it. Like, if you did it like every once in a blue moon, that you probably could have gotten away with it. But you did it like all the time.
I don't know. I got fucking pungent piss because like all it took was one piss on her car and she fucking knew. She knew.
Dude, why didn't you deny it though? Why didn't you just say like, what?
It was obvious. It was like,
I mean, I didn't even think to deny it because I didn't even like, honestly, I didn't think it was a big deal when I did it, and I didn't even think it was a big deal when I was like, hey, will you fucking? I was like, yeah.
Did you get kicked out that time for pissing on the car?
No, I didn't get kicked out. I just had to like kind of ride it out.
You just had to
kind
of.
You're gonna have to apologize to Natalie. You're gonna have to. I never did apologize, but whatever. It just kind of blew over.
Yeah, dude, TJ would always just do the like, I'll avoid you until you know.
Yeah, I would just kind of like, if I pissed somebody off, I would always just kind of like steer clear until they got over it. So
I always just did the fake apology. I'm so sorry that I did that thing. Yeah,
a little over the top. I don't know.
I mean, obviously I didn't do it like that. I would just do like, I'm very sorry that happened. You know,
I'm never sorry. See, the problem, the reason I didn't want to give an apology to her was not even, it's because like I just would have been so like obviously fucking fake.
Oh yeah,
I was like, yeah, I'm sorry I pissed on your car. I shouldn't have done that.
Do you think you should apologize for pissing on the car?
What about working out your problems with your stepmother so that you didn't feel the need to passively aggressively mark her car like a fucking coyote or some shit? You know what I mean?
She's a dum-dum, and they've been.
No, she was a fucking cunt, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and she just hated us. It was a typical stepkid thing. It was like she had to put up with us, and she couldn't stand us. And the minute she could get rid of us,
bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were fucking totally cool too. Just piss on her car, whatever the fuck she wants, you know.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, dude. You pissed on her car.
Yeah.
Dude,
piss on a car.
I was out here behind the bunker the other night.
You know, now that I think about it, I specifically like made sure I pissed on her handle. So I think there was a little maliciousness attached to it.
There's definitely, dude, you don't piss on somebody's car for no reason. Like,
but you know, at the time, it wasn't even conscious. You know, so it must have been like kind of like a subconscious aggression.
Yeah, it must have been. You think?
Must have been.
You think it had something to do?
Shit, dude.
Well, I mean, until I thought of the story just now, I always just kind of like went along with the assumption of like I didn't even mean nothing by it. But, in retrospect,
I just decided to piss on somebody's fucking car.
I mean, me pissing in weird places is not really that strange.
Right, but like on somebody else's like property and shit, like not on the ground, but like on their door, on their car, on their dog or some shit. You know, like you probably don't have a lot of stories about pissing on people's property.
The next day, I took a big shit on her car too.
Did you really? Did you squatted right on the fucking windshield and just unleashed?
Yeah, I just well, I didn't do it on the windshield. I just did it right on the fucking the hood. You know, I just thought it would look good right there on the hood of the car.
Well, Paul, if you want any idea of like just like bullshit. It was like, I remember when I was going to school, was like, and obviously this is, what plenty of kids ride the bus, but it was like, she didn't even go to a job or anything like that. Like, she worked from home. I was like, okay, you take me to school? No, you don't need to ride the bus. And I'm like, okay, so it was, because they had a kid, like, so if it was Corinne, our sister, like, would you make her ride the bus? Of course. Then Corinne started school, drove her every day, back and forth. I remember one day it was raining, like it was fucking rain, and I just walked home from school. Like, I hated the bus. I'm like, I'm just gonna walk home, whatever. Like, if I'll be fine. And I actually ended up liking it a lot. But so I was walking home, and I was like, maybe 2 blocks from her house. It was pouring rain. She pulls up. She's like, "Do you want to ride?" And I'm just like, "No." Like, I've already walked through the fucking rain for like 30 minutes. Like, what difference is it going to fucking make?
I'll tell you one thing about that
point.
fucking bitch too. She was the fakest bitch you ever seen in your life.
Oh
She's
my
like
god!
One of these people that was like all like. You ever like meet one of these people that's like overly happy all the time? It's like, hey,
yeah,
that was her.
Yeah.
And then we got to see like behind that, like as soon as like no one was watching, that she gave a shit about, thinking she was like happy and stuff. Like, yeah, that's great. And then as soon as everyone, it's like, I cannot believe that.
Just sour as a fucking old fucking lemon.
I'll tell you what, too. She would send you out to she would send me and Scotty out, like, you go to Popeyes and get us the Popeyes order. And she would have like, we'd have to like have like an entire page of instructions like written out and shit about like how shit needed to be.
How much of that was your dad though, honestly? Because didn't you say he was picky about shit?
Some of it was him, but like honestly, like she was the bane of anybody who was like a waiter or a waitress or anything like that, because she always had these super complicated.
She would order like 3 drinks. She'd have like, I'm not talking like alcohol, just like, I would like a water, I would like an orange juice, and I would like a tea. And you will do this, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and you need to make it happen now.
She's
You want
like
that
3
stuff on the
people.
side, like I want this on a separate plate because I do not want it touching this, and I don't want this in that dish, but I want this thing in this dish. She's like, addition, subtraction. This needs to be this way. This needs to be like this. I want this cooked like a little bit more than they usually cook it.
Wrong,
dude. I can't even handle that shit, bro.
And then, if there was even a single thing wrong.
Manager.
Just like, I would like to speak to the manager, please.
Dude, I can't.
Bring the manager. I ordered this way, and I got it this way, and I just think that is ridiculous. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I'm glad I pissed in her car.
Yeah,
I'm happy you did.
I mean, yeah. Now I kind of see it from a different perspective. You know what I mean?
Dude, she was a total Karen before the Karen thing was a thing.
She was a Karen before Karens were Karens.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
She would yell at you, like, and you're horrible. And you'd be like, all right, well, fuck you, Natalie. And she'd be like, what did you say? Then you start walking her like, I said this to you. Stay away from me. Stay away from me. It's like, I always laugh at her, like, what are you talking about? Stay away from you. It's like, I don't want to fight you. I'm just telling you you're an idiot. Stay away from me. It's like, okay, why? And she's like, if you come near me, I will call the police. You will go to prison. It's like, I don't want to beat you up. You're yelling at me, so I'm yelling back at you. And then our dad would always come to us. You have some insincere apology to her. It's like, well, she's an asshole and she sucks. You can't say that about her. It's like, she sucks. Like, you like, his big thing was that she stayed with him while he was in prison. So he felt a certain sense of like loyalty for that, but like she actually had some loyalty to him, but she did not give a fuck about us. It was so clear. Like, he's like, she cares about you, and I was like, my mind, I'm like, no, she doesn't. If I was dead in a ditch, she'd probably be dancing on the fucking other side of it, So it's like, no,
fiddling.
Woo!
All right, let's get to some of this shit. So this is a map you pulled, Scotty. This is
I was like, I don't even know what.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How old were you when Natalie was doing all this shit? Like, when you pissed on her door, how old were you?
You're what, 15?
How old would I have been then?
I was in like 8th grade.
I was probably either 16 or 17 when I did that.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Probably about there.
TJ, you're a fucking you're a goddamn nightmare, TJ.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Then why are you mad at that woman for yelling at you all the time? Like you pissed all over everything. Of course she's gonna yell at you. Like, what do you do when Salvador pisses all over the house or whatever, you know?
TJ is lazy, he pisses all over the place. He's a total fucking layabout. You know, like our dad had to give him a job. Dude, that was the funniest fucking shit. TJ was the tech guy.
Yeah,
TJ.
Yeah.
Oh Paul, my fucking God, bro. Oh, no.
Over all the years, TJ was a tech guy at the business.
That's true.
Did you get that job because you spent a lot of time on the internet?
Yeah.
Well, I had like home loan software, and TJ's literally like, Scotty, can you figure it out? I actually was like figuring out the software, like doing TJ's job like for him, and like.
Little did you know that was the beginning of a long association, dude.
Yeah. But right by that business was an awesome Chinese buffet, and she was like, well, we can't go. And I was like, damn, I really want that Chinese food. So I'm like, all right, I'll start installing this shit for you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, dude. We had to go get
this. Sleep under the fucking desk.
Dude, I missed that Chinese place so much.
That place was the bomb, dude.
Man, they had the best fucking egg rolls on the face of the earth. It was so cheap, too.
Dude, Paul, I'm telling you, for a buffet, you can't fucking like. I don't know how
this
went
in that motherfucker. It was like $6 or something for fucking lunch there. Oh, it was so good. Dude, I've not fucking been to a good Chinese buffet since then. That was the only one I ever fucking liked. They fucking all are just total shit. That one was fucking so
Steve
good.
told me about the good one around here. He's like, "There's a good Chinese buffet." I'm like, "Really?"
No, there isn't.
Went there, it was fucking garbage, dude. It was fucking like the standards there have gone so downhill.
Steve fucking told me, he was like, "Man, you got to go to this one place and get the fucking egg drop soup there. It's like the most authentic egg drop soup." And I go, it's like this little shithole fucking Chinese place. I'm like, this place? Okay, well maybe. I get the fucking egg drop soup, and it's like. It's the same as goddamn egg drop soup any goddamn where else. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? And then that, substandard, whatever. Fucking. Anyway, here's a fucking map.
Yeah.
Projected result in electoral college. I guess this is before the thing actually happened. Or no, this is after because this is the actual results.
Yeah.
So here's fucking here's what happened. I don't know why it says projected because this is pretty much what actually has happened.
Well,
that was from the 12th of November.
Faithless electors and shit or whatever the fuck. But
they said this is as Thursday, the 12th of November. So it's at this point, it still was, but it ended up being the actual result as well. So
I didn't pull it for that though. Everyone already knows that, unless you're just a big time Trump supporter.
Right.
Pulled it for this one, Paul. How you answer this?
Here is projected result. Oh, here you go. Say, I'll let you do it.
Yeah, projected result. In the electoral college, if I didn't vote, ran as a candidate. Look at that, Paul. How many votes would have I didn't vote win?
Looks like we would have made a fucking real solid run at it, man. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe I didn't vote should run a candidate next year that actually represents human beings and not corporate bottom lines and shit. That'd be fucking amazing. Look at that. We could almost win a presidential election if only these two parties would offer us something to vote for.
No, Paul. You got to vote for the red or the
Nevada, blue. Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma.
Now it's not even like back in my day. It used to be you've got to pick your side, vote for either the red or the blue, but there used to be a 4 in that sentence. Vote for. Now now I'm being appealed to as a fucking leftist to vote against everything. We're not voting for Biden. Vote against Trump. You know what I mean? Don't vote for this. Vote against that. It's like fucking like there's no. It's done. It's over.
That bullying strategy, dude. Oh, but that bullying strategy right now, man, they're killing it, man. They're getting everyone progressive. They said they were gonna get
you're playing fucking defense, right? You're just like
Yeah, that's like where your goalie is fucking getting winded because people keep taking shots on goal because your halfbacks are doing nothing and your goalie is just constantly swatting goals away. Like, it's bullshit, dude.
We're not trying to gain ground anymore. We're just trying to not lose any more ground. We're like backed into the very corner, like, all right, vote to keep this little corner fucking safe for a little bit longer now.
Dude,
it's closing in.
I gotta tell you, man, I will happily join the not yellow column on this projected result on the right if I'm given a politician that I feel I can vote for, and if I'm given a reason to feel like my local initiative votes actually fucking matter, then, you know, I'll join that. Like, I live in a different state now. So my local initiative voting might change now that I live in a different state, because I know it's not going to be shit ass fucking red no matter what. But the truth of the matter is, when it comes to this presidential shit, and when it comes to following every little fart that AOC makes, and every little queef that Nancy Pelosi makes, and every little fucking every little weird fucking IBS belch that fucking Mitch McConnell has with his rotting face and his, I'm just done, dude. Like, I'm tuning out of the soap opera. I was one of those yellow people, and I will remain one of those yellow people when it comes to the fucking presidential election. And for most things, to be honest with you, until we start putting like actual solutions and shit on the ballot, you know what I mean? Like, actual, not like exacerbations and furtherances of our problems disguised as harm reduction. Like, as soon as that happens, I have a feeling a lot of these yellows might join whichever side has the, you know, bravery to run a candidate like that.
But I think, you know, another assumption, though, I mean, maybe not an assumption, but another way of looking at it, too, is maybe the policies, and I guess this is what they claim, maybe the policies that you want, Paul, are just not as popular as you think.
I mean, that's absolutely, no. That's absolutely true. I mean, for me, you have to know that I know that that's true, because I want some wild shit, right? So I know that
sure,
my policies are unpopular amongst even like most like real hard left type people. You know what I mean? Or like the things that I advocate for, you know, vacillate between radical unionization and rewilding, basically. Like radical reduction of the human population and retribalization and shit. So, you know, people aren't, and then bring on the nukes too, you know, like a dignified walk into the nuclear end together, you know, that's whatever, but you know, like,
I mean, you're not going to find that in the ballot, like, let the nukes launch, like vote now, like,
So I'm not expecting, like, I'm not expecting a candidate, like, a lot of people asked me, especially after COVID and shit, right, when it was already nailed down to fucking Biden or Trump. I had a lot of people ask me after that shit started, like, would you have voted for Bernie if, you know what I mean, if he was instead of Biden? And I was like, yeah, I probably would have. You know what I mean? I probably would have just did my absentee ballot and cast it for Bernie.
For Bernie, sure. I mean, I don't think Bernie. I could have voted for him.
I really don't think that Bernie Sanders would have accomplished, like, you know, even a quarter of the things that people hoped from him. I think if he had accomplished a quarter of the things that people hoped from him, it would have been a wildly successful presidency. I don't think he would even meet that benchmark. I think he would have been stymied by kind of a deadlocked neoliberal / conservative legislature. And
there would have been so much opposition.
Right, within his own party and from without his party, and, you know, there would just been, you know, half the country would have hated him, and it just would have been a bad news bears kind of fucking thing for him. But he's a candidate that at least represents a baby fucking step in the right direction, in my opinion, in terms of liberal. Yes. Like, you know, I know liberal is a bad word now. It was used differently when I was, you know, coming up, but, like, you know,
a step in the progressive direction,
a more libertine society. Is that a way of putting it? You know what I mean?
Libertine would be like everybody's fucking.
Yeah, that'd be like
No, does that mean? Well, I want that too, though. Okay, so I'll stand by that statement.
Society, yeah.
No, I would like a society, like, you know, a more leftist society, a further left society with a better social safety net, and I would like to see us moving rapidly towards that. In addition to, you know, ecological protection.
You want total invigilation, Paul. You want constant monitoring over your shoulder. What's going on? But an AI monitoring
and constant war too. I want that.
Why not?
What is this? Los Angeles County is more populated than nearly 1,200 other U.S. counties combined. So this is the counties. This geographical area is populated by.
California's all overblown, TJ. Look, why they have so much vote? Oh, because, by the way, one county is equivalent to this.
I mean, really, they're drastically underrepresented in the vote because of the way the electoral college system is set up.
This could be read as, look at the power that these fucking rural counties have in comparison to, Like look at the spread of people to equal the power of the people that just come from this one part of California.
Because in this country we have this dumb fuck notion that like land mass should be fact. Like it's like basically saying like, hey, if you're in one corner of this room, your vote counts for more than if you're in this other corner. It's like that doesn't make any sense.
Dude, those memes that were coming out like just after and just before the election, like land doesn't vote. I'm like, well, here it kind of does. Like, I'm sorry to say it, but
land votes in America.
Land votes in America, unfortunately. Like people, like there were all these. You remember that shit? You saw that shit being passed around. Like land doesn't vote, people do. Get out there and vote. You know what I mean? Stop looking at these maps. And it's like, well, in America, you kind of have to look at these maps because this is, you know what I mean? These states,
land vote there, it does.
It's a profound, like Texas, for example. I mean, yeah, it's a huge state, but look how much of it is fucking dead ass empty. Look, if you disperse, like if you
especially
moved,
the fucking western part of Texas. I mean, it's like just desolate.
Right. Well, most of Texas is desolate. I recently passed through a little snippet of Texas, and hopefully for the last goddamn time. But yeah, most of it is just empty.
You know, if you drive along Interstate 10 in Texas, when you get to that, especially that western half of Interstate 10,
nothing.
Man, it's like there's just nothing. And you drive. I mean, like you can drive for like 2 hours and not see another fucking car on the goddamn highway. And also you just like you get to a point too where you just like look down and like, oh shit, I'm going like 110 miles per hour.
Oh yeah.
Just like you just don't even know. Like there's no because there's not even landmarks to let you know how fast you're going. So it's easy to just creep on up.
The same is true for
speed.
The same is true for pretty much everything north and northwest of Texas. I mean, it's literal desolate nowheresville land. It's like endless miles of cornfield and endless miles of just barren landscape. And then every once in a while, I call them gas station towns because that's really what they are.
Yeah, these little towns spring up around a gas station.
Right. There's like a service station on the freeway and a little town has sprung up around it. And there's like a McDonald's and like a fucking Wendy's and a gas station and a truck stop there, and all the
there's
people
usually like a Subway or something in the fucking
in the truck
station.
stop, and the truck stop is a Subway or a pizza place or like a Pizza Hut or whatever the hell it is,
Arby's.
Or an Arby's,
a lot of Arby's.
I ate at a truck stop, Burger King, and I'll be honest with you, yeah. Check it out though. It was at a Love's, which I was talking to you guys about, right?
I like Love's.
Yeah, dude, as we were traveling, we quickly started to just hit the Loves because other places we went to were funky as fuck and we were all spooked traveling during a big outbreak and shit. And Loves was
you
like...
go across the country, dude, you learn the secret. I learned that driving across the country so many times. Truck stops.
Buc-ee's and Loves, dude, when you're down south. Buc-ee's. I didn't get to hit a Buc-ee's, but dude, I hit a bunch of Loves on my drive, and I'm telling you, dude, like they were taking it. But anyway, inside of that Loves, one of the Loves that we stopped at was a Burger King, and I was like, let's take a chance, and it was actually decent. Like it wasn't the best.
I'll tell you this. I've been when you're driving across country, like the fucking fast food places in the truck stops, like if you're at a decent, like big, super corporate truck stop anyway.
Yeah, like a Pilot or something.
Yeah, like a Pilot or a Love's or something like that. Like those kind of places, those fucking fast food places there are like usually the most legit version of whatever fucking fast food place it is you're going to.
It's kind of the inverse. It's the same reason, but it's the inverse of what happens to Starbucks, because Starbucks, the only unlicensed Starbucks are the ones in fucking
like Targets and Barnes and Nobles.
Barnes and Nobles and airports. Those are the only that aren't directly connected to Starbucks, and they suck because Starbucks is actually pretty good at leveling out its standards across stores, whereas fast food joints are shit at it because they're all franchise, right?
Dude, McDonald's is terrible at it.
Right. Well, of course. I mean, most of them are. The quality from one place from one town to the next, 20 miles may separate a store, and you'd have a totally different experience at one than the other.
There are two McDonald's next to me, and it's like they could not be like more different than one another. Like I will sometimes drive the extra distance to go to the good McDonald's because I know which one's the shitty one. And I cursed them out the other day, but whatever.
But the reason for that is, but the reason why what you said is true, and I'm sorry, Scotty, and then I'll let you jump
Oh, no,
in,
you're
but
good, man. You're good.
I just wanted to finish it. But the reason why what TJ said is true is because those stores, while they're franchised, but they're franchised by Love's. Love's doesn't want a rat hole fuck place that truckers get word on the CB that suck shit and don't want to stop at. So they make extra dodextra sure that their people are fucking making that shit good, hot, fresh. You don't get no soggy fries at a truck stop because what happens? Then those motherfucking truckers start spreading the word like, skip this Love's and go ahead and truck on by and hit up the next one because they got that good Subway going. Come on back. You know what I mean?
These truckers... These truckers are on the road constantly, so they know where to stop to.
They're chatterboxes too. They're talking to each other all fucking night. They're on meth or a bunch of caffeine or a bunch of fucking that band ephedra shit. They're all snorted up. And they're all keeping each other awake, and all they have to talk about is the shit that they see on the road after a while. Like, there's only so much, well, this is my family, and this is my... Like, eventually, it's just like, what'd you see? Well, how about that, Loves? Come on back. I'm about 200 miles out thinking about stopping for a burger. Oh, no, that's a negative there, Pigpen. I wouldn't stop there, man. I got a slop burger. Come on back. If you got the diesel for it, I'd go ahead and truck another 20 up to the Buc-ee's. I'm gonna do that. Thank you for that. You know, I mean, you can't fuck up,
dude.
When your customer, like there ain't like a line of customers all connected to one another going to every McDonald's, going like, how's that McDonald's over on 46 and Clinton Street? Come on back. I'm thinking about heading on over there. Oh no, I was just there, brother. And man, that McDonald's was fucked up in there, man. They're all fucked up. There was a bitch crying back behind there, man, and I didn't even get what I ordered. All right, man, I'm just gonna go a couple miles up the street to the good. You know, like they wouldn't be able to get away with it then. That's why you stop at the goddamn truck stop. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I just
I had to learn that the hard way.
Right about that.
If you have a choice between any gas station and Buc-ee's, I'm picking Buc-ee's, dude.
You know what I'm telling you too?
Fuck, I love that place.
I fucking love on the road. If you fucking on the road, truckers all fucking go to is those fucking iron skillets. That shit's fucking.
Oh man, it's usually not.
You can get
if you find a good one. If you find a good one, dude, but a lot
they're
of them
all good.
don't.
I ain't never been to a bad iron skillet. What you talking about?
I have, dude. I have been to a bad iron skillet, man.
Well,
my hash browns undercooked.
You're talking about a greasy spoon.
Yeah.
Geez, let me tell you something. There's a McDonald's. There's a McDonald's, dude.
Yeah.
We have to drive to Shreveport. That's where Taylor's family's from.
And
it's in the middle of bumfuck Louisiana. And dude, it is the fucking goddamn diamond in the fucking rough. It is the best McDonald's, like fries. I've never got soggy fries there. I've never got overcooked fries there.
Wow.
Perfectly salted, just right. The hamburger comes out hot, fresh, and delicious.
Well, I'll tell you this, dude. There is a fucking...
in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere, dude.
There's a Taco Bell. There's a Taco Bell in fucking Jackson, Mississippi, you know?
Yep.
And the whole town smells like fucking shit. Whole town smells fucking horrible. But you go to fucking that Taco Bell in Jackson, Mississippi, there's like hopping. I mean, there's probably more than one, but the one that I fucking went to anyway.
Yeah.
Shit ton of people there. Like the most crowd I've ever seen a Taco Bell. Like, what the fuck's all these people at this fucking Taco Bell? I get the fucking food. I'm like, holy shit, this is what Taco Bell's like meant to taste like. This is like how it's supposed to be.
It's so funny that you say that.
It's fucking delicious, man.
There's a little town near where I grew up called Los Banos. Or Los Baños. It's literally the bathrooms.
What? The toilet? Yeah, the bathroom. Okay.
It's like it's you know, on your way to the coast from the eastern parts of California and Nevada and shit, right?
Yeah.
And I had the same fucking experience. Like when I was a kid, we used to pass through there all the time, but we never stopped other than to get the gas. And one time I was pulling through there to go to the coast, and it was dead as fuck there. And then I saw this Taco Bell, and it was like fucking lined out. And usually I'm the type of guy to like avoid that type of shit. But I was like, wait a minute. I can't remember the last time I saw a Taco Bell with like a line out in the parking lot. I'm going to go join that line. And sure the fuck enough, I was like, whoa, is this like the template Taco Bell that all other Taco Bells aspire to be? You know what I mean? Everyone, that's what I'm saying. Like, It's true.
If you are in a town anywhere, I know a lot of people out there think Taco Bell sucks, but if you're ever driving across America and you happen to see a Taco Bell with a fucking line outside the fucking door,
you go.
Just like look like it's a hopping place.
You go.
That you have found a fucking good Taco Bell. Go to that motherfucking Taco Bell. You will not be disappointed.
The same is true. Really, that principle can be applied if you're going to any big city too that you've never been to. If you're driving around the commercial district or the restaurant district or whatever, look for the one, not the one that's like bombed out by touristy looking people. Go a little outside the tourist zone and find the place that's hopping full of locals. And that's where you go eat. Like, it seems like common sense, but a lot of people get sucked into the tourist trap shit and all they eat it is Bubba Gumps everywhere they travel and shit, you know? Like, you gotta like get outside of like the French Quarter, like the real touristy part, and get a couple blocks outside or get a little deeper into the fucking city and find that Radastas, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to find what you got to find.
Dude, by the way, somebody told me, and I'm not sure if it's confirmed or not, but somebody told me the Radosta's still doing okay. Like, they do curbside shit now, and I guess they're doing
they're still doing it.
They're still pumping. So, like, one of my ideology people said that they pulled through Radastas on my recommendation the other day, and it was good shit still. So glad to hear they're weathering the storm or whatever.
Dude, they're so good.
That place is so fucking that place is straight. I cannot suck that place's dick hard enough, dude. Radastas is one of the most legitimate places, and I mean that not just in the meaningless, stripped of fucking any kind of context way that people usually use it. It's legitimate in that it feels like you're walking back in time going into Radastas. Yeah. Because it really is. They're doing shit the way that they used to do shit back in the 60s and 70s or whatever, in the 50s still. Like, that place used to be a little corner market, and as soon as you walk through those doors, I remember the first time you guys took me there, I was taken aback because you didn't really tell me much about the place other than it has a banging sandwich. When I walked in there and it's lined out like an old grocery store with dusty ass shit on the shelves that nobody goes there to buy, and then the back is like a little deli counter and it's like choose your own beverage and shit. I'm like, where is there a place like this on the planet anymore? Like, my mom used to tell me about how this is how they used to do it at restaurants. You didn't get a fountain drink. You just grab whatever bottle you wanted, and then at the end, they charge you up.
Yeah, they have. Okay, so in the back of Radasta, they got all these fucking refrigerators lined up, like a gas station, but like all the fucking drinks in there are legit. And you just fucking go in there and just grab whatever you want. And at the end of the fucking meal, like, you just tell them, like, yeah, I had like two fucking root beers and this.
It would be like a really small kind of backwater gas station, or maybe like a mid-sized gas station worth of selection of beers and soda, basically.
Yeah.
They've got like gut bucket beers, and they've got a couple of little craftier, higher priced import type of beers, and then they've got like your regular old Cokes and your Sprites, and then they've got like some specialty root beers and some specialty like cane sugar sodas and shit. It's got they got a good selection, and
they have a pretty fucking good drinks, like way better than you'd get on a fucking fountain drink menu.
And you walk in there and grab whatever you want, and then when you go to tally up, the little dude that took your fucking order at the back of the store runs up to the front to the grocery, and he straight up, you're on the honor system at Radastas. He straight up asks you, like, and how many drinks did you have? Now, I'm pretty sure you're not exactly on the honor system. I'm pretty sure that same little motherfucker that came over to check on you and was really nice and asking how everything was counting those bottles. But he does ask you, you know, he doesn't tell you, all right, I saw 3 drinks or whatever. He's like, how many drinks you have? And you tell him, I had 2, she had 1, you know what I mean? And they tell you up right there.
Tell you for a fact,
if anybody fucking can go to Radasta.
No way they're counting the bottles.
No, I mean, they're drunk most of the time. Like, dude, the motherfuckers are drunk back there. Like,
they're drinking. They party. They party at once.
I don't know, dude. I wouldn't put it past them.
Listen, these motherfucker, I seen the motherfucker behind the counter that takes your order. Just like go over to the fucking refrigerators and just like grab like 2 or 3 beers out of it, like open one up, start drinking.
Well, dude,
he's just drunk.
You remember that? There was one time we went.
I know they all own it. It's like a co-op.
Yeah, they're brothers, right? They're like a bunch.
I don't even know.
Or like family, cousins, right? Or something. Yeah, they're family.
It's like a family business.
Probably the fucking Radasta family. I don't
probably.
I've met him a couple times. Galen knows them too.
They're cool motherfuckers over there.
I went there one time and sat down and had a whole ass conversation with the dude. Because me and Ashley at the time, we were sitting there and we were talking about the podcast or something. And he was drunk as a fucking skunk. He was sitting there with like a couple of business associates is what it looked like guys from the neighborhood or whatever. They were all done up business style, and they were pounding him, dude, and watching like a football game up there and shit. And he overheard me talking, and he came and sat with us for like 20 minutes and just shot the shit. It was crazy. It was the crazy. It was like, dude, where does that happen anywhere? Like, where does the person that fucking made your sandwich come shoot the shit with you in the midday and have a beer with you? It's like crazy. But it really is a place that I like. I don't want to over recommend it almost, because if it gets too big, then it'll be shit.
I want to recommend it enough that hopefully some people check it out.
I want to make sure it stays in operation, and then like whatever drunks are coming up behind those drunks that run it now keep drinking and making fucking.
Let me tell you something.
Roast beef.
I've sent all kinds of people to Redostas. I've never had anyone come back to me and be like, "Man, that place sucked, dude. Why'd you recommend that to me?" Everyone's like, "That place is fucking awesome."
Every time anyone's ever fucking swum by, they're like, "Man, that fucking shit." Get the roast. I mean, if you like a roast beef fucking po' boy, man, that's
the best fucking roast beef.
I ain't fucking tasted a better one.
I didn't get over the lake. I didn't get over the lake a bunch, but I was trying to count in my head the other day how many times I went to Redostas, and the count I came up with was like 8. I think I did 8 Redostas trips in the time that I lived in Louisiana, and I don't regret a single fucking one of them, dude. I didn't have one. Most of them, I think 5 of those 8 or 6 of those 8, I got the roast beef dressed, and then I was like, I want to try the shrimp once, and I did, and I fucking was not disappointed in it, but I was a little bit, because it wasn't as good as the roast beef dress. And then one time when we went before the meetup. I don't know if you came with us, TJ.
Oh,
I know Scotty did, but were you with us too?
No, actually, TJ, I don't think you did. I think you came later.
Yeah, I think TJ was late, but we ended up eating at Redostas with you and Taylor, and so yeah, we ate at Redostas, and I got the French fry po' boy that time. Once again, was not fucking disappointed with my choice, but only slightly, because I got a bite of Amelia's roast beef po' boy, and I was like, oh, well.
I just feel the fucking au jus dripping down my fucking chin.
Man, I'm gonna have to have you motherfuckers mail me one of those things or some shit. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but
I don't know either.
I don't really want to set foot in Louisiana ever again, but goddamn, I don't want that to be my last Redostas visit either. You know?
Yeah, well, you know. Over time, you'll miss the food enough to at least pay it a quick visit. I know I will, when it's in my rear view. What is this, Scotty? Source of the most residents born out of state?
It's all just California. It's funny because the first time I looked at this map, I looked at California. I'm like, why isn't California? Then I'm like, duh.
So this is just showing the states that have the residents from the most residents from out of state.
Okay, so like
now.
All of these states have the most residents.
Texas did not surprise me. I mean, was it Joe Rogan? But a lot of people from LA are moving out to Austin and shit. That's so really
apparently people are leaving Texas to go to the surrounding states, and then people from California are just pouring into Texas.
Well, here's how I see it happening, and see if you can follow me here. People from New York are coming to California. Us Californians are going, fuck that. We're going to Texas, and then the Texans are going, fuck these California fucking city slicking motherfuckers. We're going anywhere that's around Texas. Blanc, 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 blanc. That's basically what I think. I think that's the chain of events that's happening here.
Dude, I'll tell you what, life experience. A lot of people have moved to this area from Texas, and that's kind of the big reason for a lot of people to move to where, like, this part of Louisiana where we live. Like, no, Texas it's just changing. It's not changing for the better. Louisiana, good red state, because Texas, I think, is starting to get a little bit too of a purple state for a lot of people. They want a solid red.
Well, I mean, they're getting it in all them states
except
around
New Mexico. Except New Mexico, that's really not. But Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, those are red states.
So New York is infecting everything. Look at that tiny little dick of land up there that represents the actual New York, and then look at the massive amount of douchebags it's exporting all over the fucking country with shitty fucking, hey, how's it going? My name's Joey fucking Fatone. Oh, they fucking show up in town. You're like, what? Who the fuck is this? Oh no, man! Is this an episode of Jersey Shore or what the fuck is going on?
Move to the nearest neighboring state instead.
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here, and then like people start to flee them. I think it's the New Yorkers' fault, to be honest with you, because look at that. New York flee. Hey,
came to California.
Hey, what's up, Florida? I'm down here to fucking retire. I'm fucking Jimmy Big Balls. And look at Florida. Florida's like, nope, moving north. Getting out of here.
Going on down to Georgia.
Wherever New York goes, it causes an exodus of the people that live in that place, and then the people that like where they land, they start fleeing
they
those
did
other
us
people.
a favor because they drove all of California further inland.
Yeah,
and they blew up those states a little bit at least. So
maybe there's a lot of red in California. Yo. A lot of that probably represents like salty ass fucking center staters that are just like. Man, I'm fucking sick and tired and every time is blue. I'm moving to Texas.
The main reason people leave California is just simply the fact that it's cheaper to live in other states, and like a lot of people like that. That's the main reason I hear. I'm sure there's obviously a variety of reasons why people move, but that's a big one. Is like California's so fucking expensive. I can move to Nevada or Wyoming or Colorado or Arizona and live way cheaper, which you can.
I mean, I think this
is a very expensive place to live.
I think this is indicative of just general chaos caused by like kind of inner city rot and mismanagement in these large economy states, where you see this exodus of people out of them trying to like they've got grass is greener syndrome. And really, like all of these other places where you see California represented, they have their own fucking problems. And if they fill up like California is full, they're gonna have the same problem. You know, fleeing the problem is not gonna work. Like investing in our local communities and making it places where people want to sit and set down roots and where people want to come is kind of the idea. But California,
no matter how poor people get, and how fucking much money, like how much less spending power the populace has, it seems like shit never gets any cheaper. Everything just either stays the same price or goes up. So
when I got my U-Haul, I got asked a question that I didn't know how to answer. I felt it was almost a Hicksian moment, but I didn't have a nice, like, snappy comeback for the lady. The U-Haul lady that rented me a U-Haul was like, "Y'all moving within the state or without the state?" You know, and I was like, when I went to pick it up, and I was like, "Oh, we're moving all the way to such and such." And she looked at me and she was like, she looked so confused, and she was like, "Why?" And I was like, you know, I don't know.
Oh, in this state, a lot of people, if you say you're moving to California or you're going to California or you're going to fucking anywhere, like on like, let's say like Washington, Oregon, any fucking place on the West Coast, any place like liberal New York, they're going to look at you like, "You're moving where?" Even when we moved to Ohio, dude, when we moved to Ohio, people were like,
"That's not even a blue state."
Yeah, like, "You're moving to Ohio? Like, why do you want to live there?"
Then again,
like,
people that should be a question for anyone who says they want to move to Ohio.
It was in the north. It was in the fucking north. Anything in the fucking north, anything on the West Coast,
like
even
anything
Colorado,
that was outside of the South, I think would have elicited the same goddamn fucking response, honestly. And it wasn't like "Oh, what are you doing it for?" kind of. It was like straight. She looked confused, like, "Why?" I was like,
"Why would you want to leave?
It's like,
it's wonderful here in the swamp."
I don't think I want to have that whole conversation with her. So, you know, so I just said, I was like, business, you know.
Does the swamp not abide?
Are you not tired of being eaten alive by skeeters? What's the problem?
Yeah, like you're fleeing
Don't
fucking
you like
paradise
how you
here.
can just walk outside and open your mouth and take a drink? It's so fucking humid. Don't you love it?
Are you trying to tell me, sir, you don't like swamp?
What about our excellent infrastructure and roads? Aren't you gonna miss them?
Aren't you gonna miss the way your balls are just kind of never dry ever? No. I don't know.
Ain't you gonna miss the copious amounts of dirt and oil in your face all the time because it's so fucking humid that nothing ever dries out?
I was ripping a little bit on fucking Louisiana on a ideology recently, not too hard.
Shit.
But I was talking about the GEAUX shit, the Go Pro.
Oh, I hate that shit.
Flow.
The worst one is when I see like a pro-life sign that spells pro like that.
Yeah, PREAUX or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever the fuck it is. I hate it. It's the dumbest fucking thing. Everything's pro, go, bow, show. There's a fucking restaurant called Creole Tomato and shit that every fucking thing on their menu that is an O is like that. They just like burrito, fucking nacho.
Dude, that place is an anti-masker haven. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, I could just fucking tell that shit.
Oh, dude, it is a fucking haven for that shit. Like they had a big it was like in I think like May or something. They had like a big food truck festival, and it was like, okay, it's outside, I get that, but it was like 500 people and no social distancing and no masks. Like,
dude, I can tell you this too. I'll tell you this motherfucking shit. You know, like yeah, you know where the battle lines are on the fucking on that shit around here, but like. You know, I didn't even need you to tell me that to know that. Just because the time I went there, the only time I ever went there, they gave me a fucking seafood platter, and I could just tell the oil in their fucking fryer had not been changed in fucking like weeks or months. It was fucking rancid. Everything in there tasted fucking rancid because it was fried nasty ass fucking oil. I was like, this place fucking sucks.
Yeah.
This is for mutts. This is for fucking subhuman mongrels to fucking eat at. I ain't eating here.
I used to cruise by that place, but I just never stopped. It gave off the reason I gotta be honest with you. I lucked out because I didn't stop because of the way they spelled their goddamn name, dude. The Creole tomato.
Should have known.
Tomato.
Wise decision.
Fucking sucks.
And I was just like, you know what, dude? I'm sick of that fucking bullshit. I'm not gonna eat at that goddamn place. Let's pull into the fucking Taco Bell right here.
You're better off. You're better fucking off.
Oh.
Whatever. I went there. The only time I ever went there, I found it fucking to be nasty, but whatever.
Maybe it's good, TJ. He's gotta give it a chance.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. So anyway, what was this map again? Oh yeah, this is just where people move from.
Yeah, where people are fleeing and what they're fleeing from.
What they're fleeing from. What is this? The price of electricity from solar declined by 89% in the last 10 years. Is that what we're talking about?
So this is something that I'm actually like, I'm glad Scotty pulled something about it because I'm not buying a house right now. Like I haven't found a place where I want to settle and shit. But eventually my idea is once I find a place that's kind of remote and I like the area that I'm in, I want to buy a little, piece of land and with a little house on it. You know what I mean? And if it's in a sunnier type of environment, I definitely want to look into bundling solar into my mortgage because the price of it, like, yeah, dude, I looked into it like about 10 years ago. So probably about in 2009, honestly. And it was so like, it would have taken me so many fucking years of operation for it to pay for itself that
for the thing. Do you
I can't fucking remember, but I just remember it was like it wasn't like super exorbitant, but I remember like looking at it. You ever look at a bill for something, like a quote for something, and you go,
yeah,
I did that quick, like, and then we ultimately looked at it and did some math and shit and extrapolated like, okay, like, so if we save this much a month, like how long is it going to be until this thing actually starts paying for itself? And it was some absurd like 15 years or something. And we were like, nah. But now the price of it has dropped to a point where it's actually like, it makes sense. Like not only that, but whole house battery systems have gotten so fucking good now that you can basically like skip power outages if you have solar on your house. If you have a whole house battery. Because internet, unless the whole fucking line or unless you're in a place where the internet runs with the electrical. But if you're in a place that's got like copper cable or whatever, it doesn't go out just because the power goes out. You know what I mean? In your local area. So if you've got fucking power from your whole house battery, you could you don't even know that your neighbors have lost power. That's pretty fucking awesome. You actually make money from the power company in a lot of places if you install them right and you install enough panels, where you're actually juicing into the electrical system and creating electricity that's being used by other end users. So you get a fucking check from the local company in a lot of states. Not a huge one, but here's what you contributed to the grid.
Well, I looked at my house because they have the Tesla website, and you can get so my house, for example, it's like an average size home,
right.
$25,000. Estimated 25. So it says it would give me 66 to 85 kilowatt daily solar production, 100% self-powered. And it would basically, it says, let's see, without solar, I put my power bill at $200 a month. It'd be $14 a month. So it takes you, so if you keep the system for that long, you'd save $22,000 over 25 years. But yeah, it does take a while to pay for itself.
Well,
but it's getting cheaper.
Yeah, it's getting cheaper, but like, look, paying for like when I was saying pay for itself, I don't necessarily mean like pay for the cost of its installation. I meant, when does it start being like a profitable decision for us to have gotten this installed? Like, or like a decision, like something that has actually benefited us in the short term, medium term, and the long term. And I think that solar is at least approaching that level now, where like if you've got like especially if you've got a smaller home, like if you've got a big house, I mean, prices, it says here, how much is it supposed to have declined? 70%? 89%. So the price of does that include the price of installation of panels and purchase of equipment and operating agreement and maintenance agreements and shit?
It's the price of electricity from new power plants. So it's taking all of that into account.
Right. So that's
electricity prices are expressed in levelized cost of energy, or LCOE. LCOE captures the cost of building the power plant itself, as well as the ongoing cost for fuel and operating the power plant over its lifetime. So are we talking about solar? It says solar photovoltaic.
Voltaic.
Voltaic. Okay.
Yep. Photovoltaic.
Solar photo.
Call for the win on that one.
It usually is the best pronouncer.
Look at the cost per, like, I think it's per kilowatt for solar, TJ.
What do you want to look up?
I'll look it up. Price per kilowatt.
Cost per kilowatt.
Kilowatt.
1.21 gigawatts. Right now it's at 0.06 per kilowatt hour.
Okay.
For solar. Which is actually cheaper than conventional is being charged right now. I think for like if you use fossil fuels or coal.
Well, why the fuck we ain't on solar? Give me some goddamn panels, bitch.
Because you got to pay like $25,000 for whole house solar.
Oh.
So come out, like, that's what I'm saying though. That's a tack
I'm getting
on
solar for sure.
They should fucking subsidize that shit. Where's my government subsidy, bitch?
There is some subsidies.
A lot of people will buy. A lot of people buy like a fixer-up property and tack on a lot of shit to a mortgage, right? Because you want to fix this, you want to put in a pool, and I want to try and find a property that's pretty well kept up with, so I don't have to do a whole lot of renovation to it, and then just tack on the solar. You know what I mean? And have that be my big kind of line item that I add to the mortgage.
Dope. 2020 safest cities in America.
New Orleans, number 1. New Orleans, number 2. New Orleans, number 3. New Orleans, number 4.
Here you go. Here's your list. I'm going to fucking go piss, so you look at it.
Columbia, Maryland.
Natural disaster risk as well. Financial safety. Home and community safety.
So, out of the top 20 here, have you ever lived in any of these cities?
Let's go down the list. Columbia, Maryland, no. South Burlington, Vermont, no. Plano, Texas, no. I can't really read that one. It's like fuzzy on my screen.
Nashua, New Hampshire.
Nashua, New Hampshire. Okay, yeah. No. It's like
Lewiston.
Lewiston.
Burlington, Vermont. Salem, Oregon. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Raleigh, North Carolina. Gilbert, Arizona.
I'm striking out here, man. Have you?
I've lived in Chandler, Arizona. That's where I got my job at a Starbucks, where I first started working for Starbucks back in the day. So I lived in Chandler, Arizona. I worked at the store at Dobson and Chandler Boulevard. So I've lived
you're number 17.
Well, I this doesn't shock me that there's a lot of, because I lived really near Gilbert, Arizona as well. And I lived in a lot of the other, like Scottsdale is right next to Chandler. So there are like a ring of cities that kind of encircle Phoenix as a metro area. And it's Mesa, Tempe, Scottsdale, and Chandler. And I lived in most of them. at one point or another, except for Scottsdale. Scottsdale was the richy area that I couldn't afford to live in, but they're really fucking nice. They're really well kept. Crime is super low because, well, at that time, Joe Arpaio was the sheriff. You know what I mean? So nobody wanted to eat green bologna in the desert and move holes for a living. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, it was that.
Plus, it seems, is natural disaster risk. If you look at that, like very low, like Arizona is not like a prime spot for that kind of stuff.
No, I mean, there's no major fault lines near the major cities in Arizona. There's no like flood risk. There's a lot. There's big like sandstorms and shit that blow through. So there's definitely some risk. There's monsoons that come through, but Arizona's pretty chill, actually, to be honest with you. Like, definitely a place that I'm glad I moved to. I mean,
I thought you weren't gonna.
No, the cat's out of the bag now.
TJ, let's look at the. You know what? It's nice to look at safe places. TJ, what about the least safe places? Let's go down the list.
All right.
It's starting to get real southern on this list here, boy.
The actual least safe one, according to this list, is kind of shocking. It's
Chicago?
Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, Fort Lauderdale, Florida? Really? Damn.
Yes.
Who knew
St.
it was...
Louis? Dude, St. Louis is not surprising me at all. St. Louis is a fucking...
There's Jackson,
shithole.
Mississippi, home of the fucking best Taco Bell you ever fucking been to.
Yeah, I've been there. Baton Rouge, TJ, we lived there, dude.
Baton Rouge.
Baton
The red
Rouge.
stick. It's red because you beat someone to death with it. Birmingham. I've been to Birmingham, Alabama. I've been to way more of the dangerous cities than the safe ones.
Well, they're mostly in the South.
So wait, have I been to Fort Lauderdale? I feel like I've at least been through there.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know.
I've been to
St.
Detroit.
Louis.
Yeah.
I have not been to San Bernardino, I don't think. I've been to Birmingham. I've never been to Detroit. I've been to Jackson, Mississippi. I've been to Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
I've been to Memphis. I've never been to Oklahoma City. Never been to Chattanooga. Been to Los Angeles. Never been to
Anchorage now.
God, I hope I never go to Anchorage, Alaska. I hope I'm never there. It's one of the places I don't ever want to be.
I mean, it's kind of easy not to go there. Just never agree to go there.
Yeah. It's pretty hard for it just to inadvertently.
Hey, New Orleans.
Anchorage. There it is.
Dude, New Orleans and Denver are fucking stiff competition, dude.
Yeah. New Orleans is right there, sandwiched in between Las Vegas and Denver, Colorado. Both places where you can at least smoke some fucking weed, though. I guess you can in New Orleans. It's decriminalized there, but you can't go to a store and buy none. Which totally should be a thing, by the way. There should totally be fucking weed in New Orleans, for fuck's sake. But
I mean, there's tons of weed in New Orleans. Just they're not.
Yeah, but it should be like I should be able to walk right into fucking a goddamn overpriced tourist trap on Bourbon Street and buy some weed. That's what I'm saying.
I had some guys trying to sell me weed there, but I was like, I just did this to them. I was like, nah,
dude. Sneef, cocaine.
I was like, nah, dude, I don't need your shit. I already got some.
Sneef, cocaine. Sneef, cocaine, dude. Man, these motherfuckers. Man.
Okay. Well, they don't look at you, TJ. They don't go up to you and go like sniff cocaine, TJ.
Yeah, just kind of like walk by, like, sniff cocaine.
Well, the guy was like sitting on some
cocaine,
steps, and he said this. He's like sniff cocaine, and just waited for me to see if I was gonna react to him. I just kind of like did this. I kind of like no. I was like I didn't say no, but I was gonna like look at them like no, dude. I don't want your fucking goddamn cocaine with fentanyl on it or some bullshit.
Dude, you missed out. That was some good cocaine.
If it was, dude.
You guys,
What's up?
What you guys had cocaine?
Yeah, we got cocaine here.
I wasn't invited. I stepped out to take a leak and I missed the cocaine.
Yeah, you missed it all.
I mean,
good.
This guy just fucking bumped like 2 fat rails, dude. It was fucking crazy.
You bumped them, huh?
Yeah.
You bumped them. That's not really how. That's not cocaine lingo, but that's cool.
It is cocaine lingo.
No, you take a bump.
Yeah.
A bump is a little like you fucking blow a rail.
Nah, you don't blow it, dude. You suck it in, man. Blow is like this.
Right, or you just do a rail. You don't bump a rail.
I bumped it, dude. Dude, you don't know New Orleans lingo. You fucking stupid. Fucking California.
You don't bump a rail, dude. No,
you do.
I'm gonna bump a rail, guy.
Rail, motherfucker.
Hey TJ, you ever played football? Yeah, I used to score home runs all the time.
You don't know fucking New Orleans Coke lingo, all right? You fucking too sheltered. You just like know all that California bullshit. This is some gnarly Coke, dude. Radical. It's like, get that shit out of here. I don't need that.
That is how we used to say it.
Tubular booger sugar.
That is how we used to say it, bro. You got me there.
No, I don't do Coke. I probably fucked the lingo up.
I'm too old for it now. I tried it a couple of times in my 20s, and I had, varying experiences on it. Some good.
Yeah, dude.
Most not that great.
Yeah.
You know
Coke,
what I mean? So
it's a pretty crazy drug.
Here's 50 American small towns known for the weirdest things.
Some weird shit, dude.
Scottsboro, Alabama, lost luggage capital of the world.
Lost
they
luggage.
Have like a store you can go buy. Yeah, like you can
there's
buy
like a big,
shit, people.
There's a big fucking store there that like they just like all the unclaimed luggage just gets fucking sold at this fucking store basically.
Then people rifle through it.
If an airline simply cannot track down the owner of a lost piece of luggage, it's shipped to the unclaimed baggage center in this northeastern Alabama town. From here, the bag and its contents, sight unseen, are sold to the highest bidder. Some of the craziest items ever found include a 5.8 carat solitaire diamond ring and Egyptian artifacts.
Damn.
How the fuck do you, you figure the person who lost that bag has got to be trying to claim it too, unless they stole it. In which case, probably not. Igloo City, Alaska, abandoned igloo hotel.
Saying you want to go see that place, TJ? Let's go to Alaska, dude.
Dude.
I ain't going.
Whoa. That's crazy. When I was growing up, my friend had a crazy dad. I think I've told you guys about him. He made a science project for me once that was like a hydroplane. He built a building like this. This was like his workshop. It was like this domed building out in the orchards in Madeira. And
it was like this big?
It looks
a fucking hotel. So
I doubt it was this big, but it was pretty fucking big though.
That's cool as shit though.
There are other ice hotels around the world, but this igloo hotel in Alaska didn't quite make the cut. The giant igloo was never fully operational and is now one of the weirdest ghost towns in America. So I guess this thing was never complete.
Oh,
someone rich should buy it and complete it.
Dude, buy that shit and make it your house, dude. That's the perfect zombie fortress right there.
Santa Claus, Arizona. Apparently, this is Arizona's an odd place for Santa to live, which is probably why he didn't make it there very long. There's an actual town in Arizona named after the Christmas icon, and as one might expect, what happened in the desert, the town's holiday-themed attractions fell into disrepair. Now it's downright spooky, but don't worry, there are plenty of small towns in America with impressive holiday lights. Okay, so they fucking this is Santa Claus, Arizona. Not much to do in Arizona, I guess.
Spinach capital, dude.
Oh, the spinach capital. What's this? Oh, what the fuck? Bubblegum Alley.
Dude, this Bubblegum Alley out. Dude, this is right outside of the back of a place called Slow Brew in San Luis Obispo, California. I've roadied a couple of gigs there for the band, the little new metal band that my neighbors had. And I've been to that Slow Brew place a bunch of times. It's right out back of the Slow Brew in San Luis Obispo. And it's like they clean it off periodically. Like some poor bastard has to come out and scrape it, but people won't stop doing it. And so the city has kind of just been like every once in a while they'll try and tell people to stop it. It's gross. It's like, but people won't. I paid a guy $5 one time, literally a $5 bill to take a bite of the gum wall. And he fucking did it. I made a whole stipulation with him about it because he was like, dude, how much would it take for you to like lick the gum wall? And I was like, dude, probably a lot of money, bro. I wouldn't do that. And he's like, how much would it take for you to like take a big bite of the gum wall and like chew it like bubble gum? You know what I mean? Like chew all the different gums from different people. I was like, dude, way more. And I was like, how much would it cost you? And he's like, dude, what do you got on you? And I was like, you can't be fucking real. Like, no, seriously, dude, what do you got on you? And I looked at my wallet and I said, look, right there. It's a fucking single $5. He goes, sold. If you want me to do it, fucking $5. And I was like, pfft. Here you go.
Yeah.
He fucking went face up against that wall and went, took a big bite of that shit and just put that $5 in his fucking pocket, went on about his business. I was like, whoa.
Easiest $5 you ever made.
Man, that's a crazy hustle, though. You got to do that all day, man. You're risking some nasty shit for that $5, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, at least hold out for someone who has a 20 or something. Jesus.
No, I've added to the gum wall, though, and so I've added to that before.
Dope. So that's actually Paul's piece right there.
It's right there, if you can see it, that red like one. That's my big red right there.
Yeah. Picket Wire Canyon, Colorado's largest dinosaur tracks. Well, there you go.
That's pretty cool.
Some dinosaur tracks for you.
That's pretty dope.
Village of the Damned. I like that. One of Connecticut's spookiest legends and one of the scariest ghost towns in America, Dudleytown, doesn't sound very scary, is one swirling center of weirdness. No one knows exactly why the village died out, but the fact is that its numbers dwindled one by one until there was no one left. Some blame a curse, while others blame disease or famine. I don't even see a town. It's just like a trees. What the
it's
fuck's
fucking haunted, dude.
Dude, is that like the view from Dudley Town Hall or whatever?
I don't know. Lewes, Delaware, Merman at Zwannendale.
No thanks. Next. Don't care.
Monkey Island.
Fuck yeah, dude.
No.
Homosassa, Florida.
These little motherfuckers will pick your pocket just as quick as they'll look at you, dude. One of them will be being all cute and shit, and you'll be feeding it, and there'll be 3 of them fucking taking your wallet and shit. I don't trust these monkeys.
A bunch of spider and squirrel monkeys were brought to Hermosa as part of a research into the polio vaccine. Started making public disturbance, so they fucking moved them all into this island. Well, makeshift island, apparently. And since then, the monkeys have been a beloved attraction.
What the fuck,
they're a
man?
beloved attraction, Paul.
No, fuck that, man. No.
Well, that's horrible. What the fuck is going on here?
That's something that probably causes a whole lot of car accidents, I would imagine. As people are driving through Ashburn, Georgia.
Dude, I just fucking saw like a whole B movie where this thing like jumps off its little pedestal at night and eats people and like livestock and literally like goes in the road and causes crashes and shit. Pineapple Garden Maze.
Dude, do you remember when Butter Christ burned?
Yes.
That was the fucking dopest.
Struck by lightning, dude.
It was like God that doesn't exist knew that atheism was hot right at that time, and it was like, let's burn the giant Jesus statue and fucking reveal the Terminator underneath it, dude. Oh man,
it was kind of that great moment where it's like, you know, so at the point where you're big, fucking like, because God controls the lightning, right? That's how it works in Christianity. Right. So, like, when your big fucking gaudy statue of Jesus is struck by lightning and burns, like, you have to you can only assume like 3 things from that, right? Like, if you're a Christian, either there is no God and you're wrong, or there is a God.
The logical conclusion.
Hates your gaudy fucking statue and fucking thinks you're a bunch of idiots.
The illogical conclusion.
That's pretty much the only 2.
Yeah, that's really it's logical or illogical. Like, which one do you want to go with? Either there is a God and for some reason he hates the statue that you made at the church where you go to worship him every day so much that he hit it with a lightning bolt and burned it down in front of all of you.
He fucking smote it, dude.
Or there is no God and lightning occurs where it occurs, and that big Butter Christ statue was just waiting to be struck. And
hold on, I want to fucking pull up this big Butter.
Butter Jesus.
Yeah, Butter Jesus. There he is, Butter Jesus.
I drove past this thing a few times.
There's
there's a song based on it. The first time I saw this thing, I was like, what the fuck is that?
It's Butter Jesus.
And then I saw it. I drove by it a few more times. And just open image, new tab. Here we go.
Butter
I drove
Jesus,
past this motherfucker a few times. And then, like, word came down, like, hey, it was struck by lightning and it fucking burned. I'm like, that's the most beautiful thing that has ever happened. And if I live 100 more years, I probably will not hear better news than that. What's that?
Is there an after photo?
Yeah, let me see if I can get photos of the fire.
The butter Jesus fire.
Butter Jesus done burned to the ground. Butter Jesus.
I think that's a fake. But yeah, it did burn.
There was a picture. I did a video on. Oh, there it is. If you go down, there's the skeleton it left behind. Do you see it there?
Yeah.
It looked like that was its innards after it burned. I don't think there's a picture of it actually engulfed in flame, or maybe
I think
there
this is it,
yeah.
but this is it's just you can't really tell what's
what's happening because it happened at night.
Fire is so all encompassing and shit.
But it just like revealed this weird skeletal fucking Terminator thing inside of it.
I think they just went and rebuilt it too.
It's a hunter killer, dude. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Look at this shit, dude. Man, that was them was good times to be an atheist, bro.
Oh my god.
When butter Jesus burned, man, it was like a gold mine. It was beautiful. It was beautiful irony. It was usable in argument immediately with all the stupid Christians that were always floating around trying to argue with you. I know you've heard pretty much every argument, but have you heard the cosmological argument, though? It's like, no. Never heard that one, man.
Oh, man. You know, the crazy thing to me was like...
I know, TJ. I know, wait. Before you go on, TJ, I know you're a skeptic, bro, and I respect that, man. I used to be an atheist myself, okay? But have you ever heard Pascal's wager, though, man?
Oh, shit. Not Pascal's wager. My favorite thing was how many different ways they tried to present the blind watchmaker thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because they would be like, all right, so before you even get started, this is not just like the blind watchmaker thing, right? It's like, no, listen. This is totally different. So, like, we're sitting at this table, right? It's a totally flat surface that we're all eating on. And it's like the perfect height to eat on. Like, why you think that is? Because this table had a creator. It's like, oh, no, it's the blind watchmaker. It doesn't matter what you use.
Yeah.
Every painting had a painter. Like every, so when you look at a tree, you know that had a designer too.
I had that one. Mountain. I had that one used on me. I had that one used on me at a Denny's on I-35 in San Antonio, Texas at like 2 a.m. by a dude that decided as I was leaving to call me over and do the altar call thing. Like, have you heard the good news type of thing? And the dude, whenever somebody does that shit to me out in public, like I'm going to sit down and I'm going to engage with them because I know I'm going to be able to befuddle them. I'm not even really all that good at it anymore, but I was like, ooh, one of these. And that's where it ended. He went through his whole fucking spiel and it ended in like, see that tree right there? He pointed through one of the Denny's things at one of the scrubby old trees in their parking lot.
Look at that right there.
He's like, man, you look at this place we're standing in, right? You know somebody did what? They designed it, right? I was like, yeah, for sure. What about that bench right there you were sitting on? Of course, somebody made that, designed it. Now, how about that tree right through the window there? Don't you see the same fingerprint on that? And I was like, no, I don't. I'm sorry. I don't see any fingerprints on that. I see a living organism and I see a bench. Like now, maybe you could cut up that living organism and make a bench out of it if you want to make the connection. But as far as like somebody making that tree, like God went like, and then there was the tree in the parking lot at Denny's. You know what I mean? This Denny's parking lot tree. This Denny's perfectly shaped. Yes. Oh, this one bends a little bit. Yeah, this Denny's parking lot tree bends. This is like absurdity beyond absurdity. And that was it.
I love it.
Oh, Butter Christ, dude.
He's beautiful.
Who doesn't love him?
Let's switch something a little bit more upbeat.
So
I wonder who picked this.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out. Was it Paul?
You know you're gonna get this shit with me, dude. You know you're gonna get this shit with me.
The 5 major mass extinctions, dude.
Feeling depressed today? Well, feel a little bit more depressed.
It was either going to be this or me just talking about Kenny versus Spenny for like an hour. So I went with this because those are the two things that have been on my mind recently.
The first major mass extinction, the Ordovician mass extinction.
There you go. That's pretty good. I think that's right. The Ordovician, yeah.
When the Ordovician period of the Paleozoic era, about 440 million years ago. The size of the extinction, up to 85% of all living species eliminated.
So
suspected cause is continental drift and subsequent.
Yeah, subsequently. So I actually read down below. We don't have to read the whole article, but I read it earlier, and it says
summarize.
A lot of this was because of the fucking, what are they called? That eastern mountain range, the fucking Ozarks. Mm-hmm. Well, the Smoky Mountains or whatever that.
The Appalachian Mountains.
The Appalachians. Yeah. They were fucking. It was because they formed that this mass extinction, because it caused sea levels to drop because all of them, you know what I mean? So like all that. So that's why they find these fucking things on the top of mountains and shit. Because.
Oh yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
The second mass extinction.
Oh shit, we did it again.
Mass extinction. This time it was only 80% though. Wasn't 85 again.
This
happened
one
about 375 million years ago.
About 80% of all species. Do you know what did this one? Trees.
Trees?
Lack of oxygen in the oceans, quick cooling of air temperatures,
trees?
Volcanic eruptions, and meteor strikes.
I think this is the one that the trees did. Scroll down a little bit. Yeah, the plants. So it says the plant's quick move to land had a major effect on carbon dioxide available in the atmosphere. By removing so much of the greenhouse gas so quickly, temperatures plummeted. Land species had trouble adapting to the changes in climate and went extinct as a result. So plants went fucking out of control.
It seems like when these climates...
Dude, it was the happening.
Bad things happen.
Dude, the happening.
The happening happened. Ah!
The Devonian mass extinction.
Was the happening, bro.
The Permian mass extinction. 96% of all living species.
Ooh,
that was a bad one. That was a rough one.
So not only that, but this is the one we know the least about. So it's the most, the closest that life has come on the planet Earth to being completely extinguished. Everything that's alive on the planet today is descended from the 4%.
Scant survivors
of species that survived this, whatever event it was. And they call this in scientific circles the Great Dying. And they have no fucking clue really what it was. It's like volcanoes, it's asteroids, it's climate change, it's
microbes.
Yep, microbes maybe. But this is
on there.
Well, here's the thing. This is the one where the ocean was covered, or at least scientists believe that the ocean was covered in algae, and beneath the algae, the only thing that was in the ocean feeding on the dying algae as it died off and regenerated itself was jellyfish. So it was just algae and jellyfish and different kinds of like jellies. And that was basically like 90% of the life on the planet. So pretty crazy.
Jellyfish are tough. The fourth major mass extinction, the Triassic Jurassic mass extinction.
Probably the most famous one.
More than half of all living species eliminated. Causes major volcanic activity with basalt flooding, global climate change, change in pH, and sea levels of the oceans.
Oh, I thought this was the dinosaur one. So
no, this is the next one. This is the most famous mass extinction is the fifth because it's the most recent and it's the one that did away with the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
The Kt Extinction.
The Kt mass extinction destroyed nearly 75% of all living species, probably caused by an asteroid.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of awesome to me, like because when I was a kid, it really went back and forth in scientific circles as to what did this. A lot of people said it was a virus, and then they actually discovered that the Gulf of Mexico is a giant impact crater, and they were like, "Oh, that's what did it." So if you actually look at a map of the United States, the reason the Gulf is shaped the way it is because at the center of it is basically one of the largest impact craters. I think the largest impact crater that we can detect on the Earth's surface, and it is what done the dinosaurs in. So it's pretty conclusive now that was the precipitating event for the dinosaurs.
Cool. It's pretty cool to live so close to the site where it happened.
Yeah, that's true. You look out, you walk out and look out into the ocean, TJ. You go to the fucking coast there. Go down to Bayou La Battery, do some shrimping.
Yep.
Look out into the ocean there, TJ, and you see the fucking place where 75% of life ended one day.
Well, I have my own theory about what actually happened. I don't think it was a meteor. I think it's the place where Satan fucked God in the ass.
Oh, yeah?
It left
and
that
the nut was
devastating
so
impact
powerful,
crater.
dude. The nut was so powerful, it just wiped out
Well,
the
I was
dinosaurs.
just thinking like the very force of those two titans getting it on. Just like, you know.
I mean, yeah, but what's the culmination of that, dude? Is the jizz.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously the fucking, you know.
It was the splooge what done him in.
I mean, that's splooge. I mean, like, we're talking about the devil creaming in God's asshole. So,
but really,
that's an epic load.
With a meteor strike that big, what it says down there is too, shockingly enough, what happened is that it radically changed the climate for a long time, and that's what killed off all these giant.
So, pretty much all these, by the way, are climate change. Just I'll point that out.
Right. And then
6 major mass extinction happening now. There should be a question mark. There should be an exclamation.
Yeah, no, this article takes a more kind of, you know, and I don't think it's a super recent article either, but it takes a little more of a, hey, we might be going through this type of tact. You know my tact on this. We're definitely in the midst of the 6th mass extinction. These last few, with the exception of, I think, the last one, because it was such an immediate impact, they took millions of years to happen, like a couple million years apiece at least, for the whole die-off to happen. So it's like we're living in the middle of it, dipshits. Like it's happening faster than ever before. That's another fact that people don't know. Species are disappearing at a rate that rivals any of these other extinction events, with the exception of the one where a meteor made the Gulf of Mexico.
Animal and plant species declared extinct between 2010 and 2019. The full list.
So, okay. We don't have to read this, but it is kind of shocking. Now, I will tell you that a lot of these that we'll look at, and you can do that too if you want, TJ. You can kind of scroll through and just look at the mammals and blah, blah, blah. Or you can just scroll down the list. It doesn't really matter. But I didn't really expect us to read every one of these, but it's kind of striking. Keep in mind that an animal can often be extinct for like 100 years and not be declared extinct. There's really no way for us to know an animal is totally gone until we can really survey its habitat. But this is kind of like these are the animals that were declared extinct in the last 10 years, basically. So just a bunch of different types of these warblers. A lot of this is due to invasive species. Or habitat loss. When you read these, especially with the birds, it's like cats, humans brought cats, humans brought cats, humans brought cats, humans brought cats.
And they're not cats. And they're not adapted to deal with them as predators, so they get
right. And then and then if it's not that, it's habitat loss, encroachment by humans on habitat loss, overhunting, habitat loss, and it's fucking kind of sobering when you look at just the last 10 years.
Well, the zoo around here, they tell you the conservation status of the animals they have on the exhibit, and like a stunning number of them are like endangered.
And like I said, this is just the ones that have been declared extinct. It's actually posited by a lot of biologists that about 1,000 species disappear from the planet every year. That's about the average that they're estimating right now. Now, once again, they can't give you an exact number because you have to survey the entire environment and make sure, and for years, to make sure that this species isn't just existing in small numbers.
I mean, yeah, like a crazy example is remember that prehistoric fish? They're like, that fish has been extinct for millions of years.
Yeah, the coelacanth.
The whole time we've been talking, for anybody who might just be listening, we have been scrolling steadily through this list.
Now we're on plants.
It's still scrolling.
Right. So, that's why I pulled this. I didn't want to read, like I said, I didn't want to read every one, but you might want to. It's an interesting kind of like eulogy for a lot of things that used to be on the planet that in the last 10 years, some of them with pictures of them. So, you know, some of these were maybe have been extinct for a long time, and some of them went extinct probably while you were alive. But there's the end of the list, and those are just the ones that were declared between 2009 and 2019. And like I said, ecologists and biologists and biodiversity specialists estimate, they kind of all come together and estimate somewhere between 500 and 1,000 species per year is the rate that we're losing species. And they're just having a hard time keeping up with it at this point.
I mean, like, like you can't. I mean, like some species like only exist in like one piece of land somewhere, you know, and then, you know, once that range is destroyed, it's just like, you know.
Yep, that's it.
But the coelacanth is a little different, though. It's a living fossil, so it's something that we thought went extinct like 1 million years ago, that we presumed was extinct way before human beings ever had a chance to impact the environment. That list there is different. Those are not living fossils. Those are all animals that existed with human beings
that we knew about and observed.
And if you read that obituary, if you go to that fucking page and read that obituary for each one of those species, mankind's fucking signature is at the bottom of each obituary. Invasive species, climate change, loss of habitat, encroachment of cities on habitat, conversion of habitat to monoculture, farmland, blah, 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 blah. So it's all us. All us. We're just killing the planet. Now, I know what you're thinking. Now, I mean, I don't know if it's good that we're blowing through mine so fast. I don't really want to rush us along here, but I also don't want to force you guys into a really depressing conversation. But what do you guys think about the fact that, like, I don't know, how into nature are you?
I mean, I'm not a super nature-oriented person.
Do you like it, though? Do you like looking at the little creatures that live in your backyard?
I mean, sure, yeah. You know, I mean, I like a nature documentary, and also, like, more importantly than that, I mean, whatever my personal feelings about being out in nature are, like, all life, you know, on this planet depends on the delicate balance of the fucking biosphere and shit.
You understand that, right? Like, and I'm not trying to preach at you, but like when you look at that squirrel, what you're looking at is it's like a Jenga piece, right?
Right.
It really, if you reduce it to what it means for life on this planet, it's a Jenga piece that if it was removed, and a lot of those small kind of rodent species, by the way, if you scroll up to the mammals area, or I guess we're on the mammal. No, we're on the, well, it'll take you a while to scroll fucking back up. But a lot of them are little rodents that have gone, like there's actually a video you can watch of one of them. They've got video of this little guy. They tried to, I think they might have video of him. I might be wrong. Scroll through a little bit. I just saw the video. Yeah, there's some pictures of him and shit in the video. You don't have to turn the volume on, but it was a very specialized little animal. Yeah, there's a picture of one of them. Very specialized little animal that lived on a K. So it really only lived here, and it evolved to live on this tiny little K. And basically its entire habitat is underwater now. I mean, you can see what's left of the K. There's not enough to sustain anything but some scrubby ass species and shit. And they went in 2014 and surveyed this fucking island and didn't find a single fucking one of them living on it. So they're gone.
Yeah, its habitat was destroyed.
Yep. Habitat destroyed by man-made climate change. So yay us, you know, and it's just like a lot of these little creatures are just, it goes under the radar with people. I think a lot of times.
Bat here.
Yeah.
This bat's fucked.
See, I love all the little creatures of the world except for the parasitic ones. Okay, the ones that exist only to feed on other creatures parasitically. I don't
like humans. Yeah.
Like us, leeches, mosquitoes, you know, them types of fucking them parasitic wasps. Fuck all them motherfuckers, right? By the way, little fun fact: do you know 80% of all wasps are parasitic?
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
I think I covered that on the wasp episode.
Did you?
Yeah,
I was listening to a Derek Jensen talk the other night, and I was like, whoa! I relearned that one in my stoner brain. But yeah, no, it's actually pretty cool. But I don't like parasitic animals, but all these little creatures that we're losing, Like, it was really sad for me when I started looking for this the other night, because I was like, I'm just going to go with my gut and pull something about, the extinction event, because that's really it's been on my mind a lot lately. You know what I mean? This is what's filled the gap of electoralism and all the hullabaloo and huffle-fluffle about Trump and Biden and all the arguing and all the bullshit. Like, what happened when I cut that tap off is it opened up the floodgates in another part of my brain. And I've talked this shit to you before, so this is nothing new from Paul land, but I was just like, whoa, it kind of recentered me. I was like, why have I been arguing about which old doddering fool is running the country? This is really what matters.
Partially because you would hope that one of them would do something about,
but they won't.
This kind of stuff. But
they won't. We tell ourselves that all the time. And, I was talking to you a little bit about it before the show. Like, it's the central theme of Ishmael, the book I'm trying to push on everybody on ideology. I'm trying to get all my children of the salt to read it so that they'll be more accepting of my,
Yes. The new order. Read Ishmael and prepare for the new order.
Would you like to suck on father's penis? What would you do if father pulled his penis out right now and let you suck upon it? Sorry, anybody know who I'm doing there? Can somebody name that reference?
Paul's Ego.
It's from one of our fucking shows, dude.
Is it? I don't remember it.
It's the Jim Jones.
Oh.
Remember, he would go to people in his flock and say, how would you like it if father fucked you up the butt? How would you like to suck on father's penis? And they'd be like, what? Because that's what they called him. They called him father and dad. They called him dad. So it's like,
dude. Yeah, you can see where his fetish is laid.
Fucked up. I don't know how we got on that. But anyway, animals disappearing and shit. Jim Jones helped a few animals disappear too, I guess.
Yes, he did.
This is about wildlife crossings, I guess, constructed in Utah the past year.
I didn't want you guys to accuse me of pulling a salty note, like, oh, no, like, they're trying some stuff. So I went and looked, and the question is, are they trying to do anything about some of this shit? The answer is, kinda, yeah, we're doing some stuff. And I thought I'd pull a couple of the things that they're doing. And apparently Utah is pretty progressive. Take a look at this. You don't even have to turn the sound on. Just play the video. Just blow it up full screen and play it. And look at what Utah has built in these areas where a lot of, like the things that live out in the woods, like deer and moose and wolves and shit, they'd get hit on the caribou and shit. Yeah. Elks, right. They get hit on the fucking road, right? So they started building these. They started building, take a look at them. They're cool. They're not meant to be used for any other purpose other than to allow elks and deer a way to cross the road without endangering them. And there's actually video of them being used here. Little creatures using them as bridges to get across.
And again, humanity, they have these ancient migratory routes that they would go on. Because they follow, it's basically based on weather patterns and shit. They're grazing animals. So before this, they run into the highway, and it's honestly, they said the state actually saves money because so many people would hit these animals every year or die themselves that this just actually is more cost effective.
Well, not only that, but it's like a lot of these species that you see, especially the bear species, are in decline everywhere. And so, well, not everywhere, but in most places. And a lot of the little, you remember the little rodents that we scrolled through? I mean, you got to imagine we lost a lot of those species in some part due to just habitat lost and just death on the road and shit like that. I mean, it can't help. And so here's Utah doing something that I thought was actually pretty fucking cool. And it doesn't look like it costs a whole fucking lot. These bridges are not built for people. You spread some fucking gravel and some rocks and make it look pretty natural, and the animals just kind of naturally gravitate towards it because they know that the road is dangerous. They see that shit and want to avoid it, but they cross it because they have no choice.
That's right there. Reduced fucking
90%.
Getting hit by 90%. So
90% of the animals are smart enough to use these fucking bridges. So it's that's a pretty fucking.
And really, we're helping the animals out because we're killing the dumb 10%.
Yeah, no, the highway. Get me on the highway.
It's fuck that bridge bullshit. I'm going to cross the road. I'm dead. Okay.
But I read a little bit about these, and the more that they're used, the more so that number is likely to go up, that 90% number, because the more that they're used as migratory track. You saw the big groups of deer and elk moving through there. They mark, You know, they pee, they poop, they leave their scent behind on things. All the little creatures that come by do. Bears rub against shit. The more that happens, they expect that number to go down to where, like, the migration tracks basically become over these bridges. Now, the question is, when we have to expand that highway and tear down those bridges, will there be an earmark to rebuild them? The answer is probably not, unfortunately, knowing humanity. But as of right now, pretty cool thing happening in Utah. There's 6 of them now that are being used, and it's probably saved a lot of animals.
Utah's kind of a weird state because, you know, I don't know. They fucking it's the same fucking state where they did the homelessness thing. Like they fucking. Basically, fucking.
I mean, Utah's not all. Look, well, Utah's changing a lot too.
They put all the homeless people. They gave all the homeless people little houses and shit. Like reduce homelessness down like by like fucking a huge percentage. Like I don't know. They seem to actually embrace real solutions to problems every now and then. So it's like, oh, maybe we need a little bit more Utah spirit in this country.
The thing in Utah though is land is much cheaper. Like the reason they always say you can't do it in these cities is because it's too expensive to do it. Cities are too like San Francisco, for example. Pretty much the most expensive place to live in the country.
Yep.
For no reason.
So I thought that was cool, though. That's pretty progressive for Utah and, you know, pretty forward thinking. And look at how it benefits. Like we did something, right? Well, not we, but the people of Utah. I guess Utah's an American fucking state. So we did something, right?
We did it.
Taxpayer money went towards something that doesn't really directly benefit humans at all, but it does. Right? It's built, it both benefits humans and animals at the same time. It allows animals a safe path to migrate across these heavy traffic lanes and shit and not get splattered all over the goddamn road. And it saves humans the cost in life and property damage of hitting these animals. It's like a win-win solution. And if we could find a few more of those, we might be able to, like, I don't know, like reduce the damage we're doing and stuff. The next one's pretty cool. It's a video of a thing. Have you guys ever heard the Salmon Cannon?
No. You
don't have to unmute this one either, to be honest with you. It pretty much just shows you what it is, and I can explain it to you because I looked into them. The Salmon Cannon. So there's a problem, right? Salmon spawn, just like kind of like those animals that we saw migrating across the road, right? They spawn predictably. We dam up their rivers, and what happens is they come up against the dam and they die, and their populations crash. So at huge expense to a lot of the governments, they move these salmon by hand, and they've been doing it one way for a very long time. And this is kind of the new way that's springing up. This whole system here costs $150,000 and is portable and allows them to basically, now this tube is cool. It's pressurized. So it feels like for the salmon, when they put it in the tube, it feels for the salmon like they're swimming in about 30 or 40 feet of water, which is exactly where a salmon wants to be when it's deep and strong, and it makes them swim. So you can actually see them, see why they wiggle like that. It's because the salmon actually starts swimming in the tube. So it's really humane for them. It's less destructive to the populations, and it's easier to take one of these portable things from dam to dam and put it where the salmon are spawning and start rounding them up in nets and throwing them in this little thing that a lot of people that are watching this probably want to put their dick in. And
dude.
That salmon hole, dude.
Unless you have a salmon-sized dick, I don't know.
Yeah, you see the iron gate there? So for the longest time, people started putting in those iron gates to just kill salmon, to keep them from blocking up the works on the dam. And so now what they do is a lot of these states have got initiatives where people were taking the salmon and then taking them around the dam. A lot of the salmon's dying in transport. With this way less salmon die, and it costs $150,000. So states that have several dams, they could buy one of these and just have it travel around at different spawning times. You know what I mean? Set it up. You can see it's got like a what at max? Do you think 10-man crew at max?
Let's see.
Like, see if you can kind of like get your and keep in mind that they're filming today, so some of these might be film crew, but let's estimate.
Well, I mean, if everyone I'm seeing here, it looks like about 9 people here from what I count.
Sure,
it's kind of hard to tell where everyone's standing. Oh wait, no, I see 10 actually.
There's another one out there actually doing the work. So a lot of those people might just be film crew and media people. It might be like a 1 or 2 man operation. You know what I mean?
So let's see. We know. Okay, so I see some people working back there. There's at least 3 dudes in this cave.
Yeah,
you need these people grabbing it, and then you need people on the other end making sure I think that they get out.
So
looks like there's a few more people standing up, but it looks like a lot of them are just documenting.
Or does it just spit them out at the other side?
It spits them out on the other side of the dam so they can go, because salmon spawn and then they die.
Right.
And then they go upstream to do it again in the opposite. So it happens, you know what I mean? That's their life cycle.
Yeah, we saw them and we lived in Washington. I was a kid. Like, they go out they live in the ocean, and they come back to their spawning points. They swim up the streams, dude. It's crazy.
That's what's happening here. They're going to their spawning points to lay eggs that will become the next round of salmon and go back out into the fucking ocean.
How do I get back to the ocean?
Well, every river leads to the ocean.
Right, but if there's all these dams that are blocking the salmon, like...
Oh, does it go both
well,
ways?
they don't then. They don't. They just die up against the dams.
Yeah, I think they die. Yeah, I think they just die, right?
Yeah, well... Yeah, if they can't get to the ocean, they can't grow. They grow in the ocean.
I'm pretty sure once they get back to the spawning point and stuff, they don't live very long after that. But who knows? We're not. Don't take us.
I'm talking about the ones that get. I'm talking about the ones that are hatched there, though. Like at the.
Hatched.
Ones. Yeah,
so
like
they go to the spawning point upstream. They hatch at the top of the dam, and then you have to repeat this process as they're going back. They have to be let through the dam in some way. Yeah. Otherwise, they fucking.
Okay. I get you.
Right, because they go there to fucking lay eggs, and then all the fish kind of die. All these fish that are going up the tube, they're going up the tube to fucking die.
Yeah.
Because they go up the tube, they fuck, the ladies
I'm just wondering how their offspring get back with all these dams in the way.
Well, that's with this. They have like pass-throughs and shit for the smaller fish.
Oh, okay.
And the iron gates allow the smaller fish to get through.
Oh, right.
But the bigger spawning fish die, and if they can't spawn,
okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
So the little baby fish can get through the iron gates, but the big fucking fish that are coming to make the little baby fish can't. Cool. And so fucking Derek Jensen, who I quote a lot when I'm talking about shit like this, and I quote a lot in general, he waxes very poetically about descriptions of rivers in America from early travelers here, like the early European immigrants that came here, that described the rivers like being whipped to total foam by salmon, so much that like horses were afraid to cross them. They wouldn't there were so many salmon, and that doesn't exist anywhere in the United States now. Now you can see we're loading the last few that remain up into tubes, hoping their little species come back, and launching them through this fucking crazy contraption to try and save them from ourselves, rather than tearing down the fucking dam and finding a better way to make energy for the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway,
that is the problem.
But yeah, I thought this was cool. I thought that Utah shit was cool. I didn't want to end it on a bad fucking note. So there are people that are trying to do some stuff, but let's just say that this is like a Band-Aid on a gushing fucking gut wound. It needs immediate fucking...
I think it plays like that.
Yeah,
but I mean,
hey, at least somebody's slapping a Band-Aid on it. Yeah.
So, so I wanted to talk about the color green. Just a fucking color of jealousy.
This was a joke.
The color of jealousy.
Yeah. You know? Deep meme, dude. The green-eyed monster. Color of money.
Color of many things, dude.
Got to have money.
Color of boogers.
Oh yeah, boogers are green.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I don't know. Let's see.
Snot and boogers. I don't have any boogers.
I feel like the boogers I have are not usually green, but
you got a green poop.
If you have a big old salad, you're gonna have a green poop.
A nice green poop.
You need a bunch of dark leafy greens. You're gonna have a nice green poop on your hands towards the end of that.
Kind of poop, dude.
Yeah,
sometimes
I like.
If you're sick, you know.
I don't know about that. I never had green poop just because I'm sick.
I've had some green poop when I'm sick before, man.
Were you eating a lot of lettuce?
Might have
gotten sick from the lettuce. Might have been the problem.
Just green, man. It's not good. It's not fucking good. It's not fucking good.
Green, TJ? The least likely color for your food to be green. I think that.
Least likely color for food for me, for sure. What else is green? Trees are green.
Just remember the time, TJ, that you actually ate Brussels sprouts in front of me. That was like a trippy moment.
Yeah, I mean, Brussels sprouts are pretty good if you fucking wrap them in bacon and shit.
It was just astonishing to see you actually eat a vegetable. Like, there wasn't like potatoes. Like,
you know what I realized about vegetables, especially green vegetables that I didn't know before, is that, you know, if you fucking soak them in a bunch of fucking fat from meat and put a shitload of salt on them, they're pretty fucking delicious, honestly.
Or a sauce. Like, if you get the right sauce combination.
Yeah, the right sauce on a fucking
like,
vegetable.
Oh, man, that's good now. Yeah, these Brussels sprouts are fucking delicious by themselves. Ugh.
What about chili? Like, chilies are green. Like, a lot of my, like, jalapenos. I love jalapenos. They're green.
That's true.
And then there's like a lot of really good Mexican food that are green, like green tomatillo salsa and chili verde is green.
Oh, chili verde,
yeah. Chili verde is really good. What else is?
Hatch chilies, dude. Hatch chilies are good.
Green. Ruby Rod in that in fucking The Fifth Element says super green. That's how he says super cool. And I always thought that was a cool little touch. You know, everything's green or super green. You know what I mean?
The fucking Grinch, man. The Grinch is fucking.
The Grinch is green as fuck. That's right. In fact, a lot of
Grouch is green. Wait, why is both the Grinch and Oscar the Grouch green?
Well, if you think about it, a lot of like maligned characters are green, like witches. They're green, right? Goblins and bridge trolls and shit. They're traditionally like green, right?
Yeah, they usually make them green or like grayish green,
right?
Or some shit like that. Yeah.
The
green, dude.
The creature from the Black Lagoon. Yeah, you do look green.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the lights are more blue, but for some reason they do kind of have a green tone. So
yeah, my lights are just not working. I'm gonna have to get a whole different light. Oh shit, green. Scotty's green as shit.
Green as fuck.
I'm fucking green now, bitch.
Yeah, why is green the color of the outsider?
I don't know. That's true.
Like
I'm an outsider, guys.
Why is that a visual cue? Like, oh, he's green, so he's the Grouch that lives in the fucking garbage.
It's probably because like
Grinch that lives on the mountain near town and hates everybody.
Green, like people with a green hue probably is like sickliness, right? And so like that's something that people probably fear more than anything in human history because. Like think about it. Before germ theory and shit, when we were just tribal, like people would just die.
Oh, gangrene, dude.
Yeah, they would just get sick and die. Like half the tribe would just croak from this disease, and nobody knew why. And so that's why the bogeyman became green because people, you know, that are real sick will get that green pallor about them. You know, and then that's why the witches are green, and the trolls are green, and the goblins are green, and the orcs are green, and the Grinch is green. And,
the fear of death, dude.
Yeah, it's death. Really green, but green actually, but interestingly enough, green is synonymous with life too. Though green is verdancy and springtime and the renewal. So it's the whole cycle really is in green if you think about it. The pallor and disgust of horrible putrefaction and death at the end of life, and the green spring of renewal when everything bright grows out of it and is nourished by it.
Like, we know a lot of that life.
Even as far as like food goes, you know, like you could be like, "Oh, this is leafy greens. This is good for me." But you could also like pull out like a piece of meat that's green and be like, "Oh my god, the meat's turned green." You know,
right?
Yeah, you know, it could be fucking
bologna, just scrape it off the top.
A lot of mold is green.
Green might be the most versatile of the fucking colors, man. Yeah. Life and death, fucking health and disease.
It is my favorite color. Believe it or not. Is green, yeah.
Why is that?
I've just always been drawn to it. I've always liked the darker, like more foresty greens.
So like we got 5 greens here.
Yeah.
You like the dark one the best?
If you're labeling them left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would say 3, 4, and 5 are my favorites. I don't really like the really lime bright Caribbean green that you've got down at the end.
Yeah.
And I don't really like the kind of but I would say the last 2 for sure. Definitely pique my interest more than the others. I like the darkness of it. Like I like it. Like it's black, right? To me, like that dark green is almost black, but it's got something else behind it, and that's what I've always been drawn to. Even since I was a little kid, I would wear out the fucking green markers first. I wanted to make everything green, and so always been drawn to it. Now I smoke green all day.
Yeah, smoke that green. What's that, Scotty?
You can be green. Depends on what you eat, dude.
You can be green. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
What the
can
fucking heck,
be
dude?
green. Yeah.
I yesterday, Chelsea was like trying to find me some like shirts and shit.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm weird size 2XLT. It's kind of hard to find cool shirts in my size. And she was like, I was looking, but all the shirts for you.
Dude, Nerd
lame.
Kung Fu, TJ, Nerd Kung Fu. I'm telling you, 2XLT. There's hell of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go by there.
Nerd Kung Fu.
Did you ever get that shirt, Paul?
Hold on, I'm trying to tell you something. So listen,
sorry, go ahead.
listen, no, this is fucking. So she tells me like all the shirts they have for you are just like lame shit, like, you know, gone fishing. I was like, I started laughing my ass off. I was like, gone fishing, and I got such giggles about it that I was like, I might actually want to buy one of these fucking gone fishing shirts. And in my head, once I actually saw it, it looked lame in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
But in my head, I saw a shirt that was pretty much this first shade of green with gone fishing in like big yellow letters, you know, and like a yellow popped collar and shit.
That
and
sounds
like
like
the most horrible shirt ever. And I just wanted it with all my fucking heart. I wanted that horrible eyesore of a shirt, but
that sounds like something. That sounds like something that like a hapless side character in a Stephen King novel would be described as wearing. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
The thing that stood out was the lime green of that shirt, juxtaposed against gone fishing. I mean, isn't fishing something you do in blue waters? Wouldn't blue be better? Why would you make a lime green gone fishing shirt? And gone fishing, it was yellow. Why yellow? Why not blue? You know, like
somehow that would be a chapter.
And that would be a chapter on the
that guy shit, dude. Because like we'll occasionally go to this thing. Like honestly, because like what you just said, TJ, it's so rare to find any cool shirts in your size. So like we'll go look like anything like in TJ's size, and it'll just be the most gaudy shit you've ever seen. It's like. And all that, it's like, dude, it's like fat people kind of want to like hide it, but they'll be like, it's like, why you have a fucking bright orange shirt? I mean, like, dude, it's like always some shit like that. You never fucking find anything good in your size, TJ. But dude, listen to Paul. That fucking site, I just looked right here, dude. There's like a fucking Joker shirt, like the beginning of the site. So you
there's a
bunch,
and like they have all the XL and XLT shit. They go up to like 8XL on some shirts and shit. It's for like people that can't even get out of bed. Level shirts, you know what I mean?
Dude,
but they have all the way down, and they have the odd sizes and shit, and they got really cool shit. That's where I got that. You remember that giant Hitchcock face shirt that I have?
Yeah,
I used to wear all the time. I got that at Nerd Kung Fu. I got the LV 426 alien shirt that I've got at Nerd Kung Fu. You know what I mean? We're not even being paid to shill Nerd Kung Fu, but I'm just telling you, if you're a fat dude and you're tired of like looking at shitty shit like lime green gone fishing shirts, like Nerd Kung Fu's actually got some cool pop culture shirts. There's a lot of like, you just search a movie on Nerd Kung Fu. Like if you wanted like a shirt with like Jules and fucking Vic Vega from fucking Pulp Fiction holding their guns or whatever, you know, they got that shit. Like cool portraits of like Salvador Dali's face on shirts. They've got like, I don't know, dude. It's like there's a lot of pop culture, cool looking referential kind of stuff, but for fat dudes.
Hey, yeah, I'm looking at a bunch of Kiss shirts now. I'm gonna fucking get me a Kiss shirt.
They were fat dudes too, TJ. I try to give you guys Hawaiian shirts, Hawaiian or button-down shirts. Like,
I gotta say, I like a Hawaiian shirt, man. I like a loud, gaudy Hawaiian.
If you're
shirt.
at the beach. If you're at the beach, a nice fucking like breathable Hawaiian shirt is the best attire, dude. The ocean breeze blows through it, you know what I mean? But outside of the beach, if you're like inland or like in a city away from the beach and shit and you're wearing a Hawaiian shirt, you're basically like, in my opinion, you should be able to be killed with no consequences. I think it would, weed out a lot of the bad people in the world because you never really see good folks wearing Hawaiian shirts.
All right. You know what? Here's a good hypothetical question for you.
Yeah.
All right. You have to cull the population, Paul.
Oh, okay. I love these.
So you have to cull it.
Yeah.
You got to fucking figure out some metric, some single fucking metric of how you're going to do it. Like, not the whole thing, but just like your first major step. Like you got to kill like everybody who does X has to be dead.
Wow. This is kind of fucking tough, dude.
Yeah.
I wish I had
Paul,
like
if you're
a
thinking about your
snappy answer to this, but I just don't.
I've got one.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Got one.
Got it?
Okay.
Go. Take it.
You're asked the question: do you prefer the movie Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you answer depends on whether you live or die. I think you guys know where I stand.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
staying with Gene Wilder.
There's a number of those though that might eliminate more fucking dumbs if you really think about it though. If we really, because like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, you know what, Paul? You fucking crystallize what's wrong with my phrasing of this question. The goal here is to get rid of some of the dumbs.
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, obviously. Well, that's what I'm trying to get rid of. I don't know if that's everybody's goal, but I'm trying to get rid of people that can't be reasoned with. So
We're
I'm
not trying
saying
to get rid of like evil or like whatever the fuck.
Right. I don't even believe in evil. I'm sick of hearing people use the fucking word.
Trying to get rid of the dumb.
Right. We want to get rid now. Dumb does exist. So we're trying to get rid of the dumbs. We're trying to filter those out so they don't breed and make more dumbs. Right.
Right.
What is the okay? So like Scotty's movie route is an interesting one, but I just don't know that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the best example. What if we went with something more like Star Wars? Like make a statement. I enjoy the prequels better than the original trilogy. True, false, right? And have them circle. The people that circle true, they go, right? They're dead.
Yes.
But the problem with that is that the prequels are pretty much rejected by 99% of the Star Wars fan base, which is also 99% populated by people who I want to kill.
You know what though? Not anymore. With
That's
the new
true.
trilogy, prequels have fucking like, dude. If there's anything to make their stock rise in the prequels, it's up, dude. It's like,
You're
wait
right.
a minute. Even the prequels weren't so bad.
What
So
about,
you gotta rethink that one?
But you know what? It's the same.
What about
the
this?
Same shit's gonna happen with these garbage ass movies that came out. By the way, all you motherfuckers are like, these sequels suck. The prequels were actually not too bad. Guess what? When the next horrible trilogy comes out and you hate that, 20 years from now, people can be like, man, you know them Disney sequels actually.
Dude,
you know,
Ray was a great character.
What about this?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Ray was a more richly textured and layered character than people thought.
What about this one? Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is the pinnacle of the Indiana Jones franchise.
I don't know that anyone believes that though.
All right. Okay. So what's a dog shit remake that everybody like? How about this? How about this? Ooh, this would cast a wide net. I love Disney's updates of old classic films.
Well, here's what you do. Here's what you do, dude. Just put out just put out another one of those fucking movies. What's one that hasn't been remade yet? Fucking Little Mermaid. That's coming out.
Dude, you're thinking too small because there are people out there that don't like the Little Mermaid, right? That we would miss with that net. You have to cast the whole Disney net. You would have to be like right on the paper. I love what Disney is doing with their new remakes of old classic Disney properties. Agree, disagree. Circle one.
Yeah.
The people that at circle agree go to the tanks. Boom.
They should.
Okay, now is that the best way to do this? I don't know. But I like Scotty's movie idea. But that wouldn't reach a lot of people that are stupid in other countries. I'm just thinking like dumbs in America.
Right.
Yeah. If we want to do international dumb, we have to go beyond our borders.
We have to get to the elemental dumb.
Here's what we do. Whatever the latest Call of Duty game is or whatever the fuck, you put out like a fucking expansion for that's like way overpriced, like $80 or some shit. And then when they fucking actually pay the $80 to buy that, we know they're stupid. So then they're all just chilled, you know?
What is the stupidest, most reckless thing you see people do when they're driving?
Check their phones. Look down at their phone, like try to text somebody.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's pretty fucked up.
What about anybody who fucking like you put a camera in every car that operates in the world?
Yeah.
And anybody that uses their fucking phone while driving is dead.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Damn, dude. It was nice knowing you guys.
Me too. I have a dude. I can't deny it, dude. I have a ticket on my record in California, dude. I was 29 or some shit, but I was driving with my fucking cell phone. So
Dude, I literally bought a fucking stand to put on my car like attaches to the glass. Like, yeah, it's magnetic. So yes, I won't do it. Still do it. I've still done it, dude. I guarantee fucking.
Oh, me
I've done
too.
it since then.
So I'd be gone, but it would probably make the planet better. Let's see. Is there a political way to do this that isn't like, you know, kind of Nazi-ish? Like, what about anybody? No, because I don't want to I don't want to kill you. I was gonna say anybody who really think, but you don't really think. Like, what about? I believe electoral politics is gonna fix things. Circle yes, circle no. And anybody that circles yes gets
done. That would be, that would be even more expedient, because not only are you selecting for dumb, but you're selecting for people who think that this incremental change shit is going to amount to anything.
Right.
So yeah, you could definitely do that.
Because that would be good to get those people out of the way. The problem is that I think that a lot of the people that would be left would be crazy like me, and
yeah. Oh, you're really just setting up like the two most extreme factions for like a direct conflict at that point, because you basically got rid of all the centrists. So now it's just like there's nothing holding them back. Like, all right,
yeah,
maybe we just be like, all right, we're drawing the country in half. You get this half, we get this half.
No way, dude. It'd be one of those episodes of Star Trek where they're like stuck on a planet. It's like we could not stop fighting.
I gotta be honest with you, like a bloodless civil breakup of the United States might actually be pretty fucking dope. If you think about it, like allowing, like the southern states coming to
a. They wrote a book that said there should be like 9 countries or something.
Right, but like let's just
the foundation of each region. But yeah,
sure. But let's just say that like we split into North and South, like the old battle lines of the old Civil War, right? Because that's basically where this culture wars divide still stands today. Like the states that were half and half back then are half and half now. The states that were hardcore pro-slavery or hardcore Republican right-wing fascist now, you know what I mean? Like, why not? What would be wrong with bloodlessly allowing these southern states that are unhappy with the liberal way of things, that are really obviously holding back progress in every other fucking state? What would really be the harm of letting them take their fucking land and take the productivity of it and their access to the ports and all that? They'd be rich as fuck. I mean, there's a lot of rich land in the South, obviously. So it wouldn't be like they wouldn't be able to feed themselves or anything. Like back in the Civil War and shit, the problem is like they needed access to metal. Right, and the South doesn't have a whole lot of metal mines and shit, and so the North had all the metal for munitions and making cannons and yada yada.
Well, the North had the manufacturing base, the South
and the manufacturing base, but that's not true anymore. That's moved to the South, and the South, of course, could move because of the tax fucking situation in the South, and the South could fucking bolster up its manufacturing base enough to support itself. And what if there was just like a peaceful trade agreement and free travel, like an EU kind of situation? Where it's like, as long as they don't oppress people to a certain fucking level, we allow free fucking travel and trade between our nations and shit. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to let people travel to Turkey, it would be fucking ridiculous of us not to let people go to the South and party if they want to. And then people could choose. You know what I mean? They could like make immigration easy back and forth between the countries and let things settle. And, a lot of people might say that that's like setting up for an eventual conflict, but I think that there could be like a peaceful resolution of that.
It probably would ease tensions, at least for a while.
Like the people that are kind of in the middle would live near the borders of this nation, right? They would live in these areas that there's a little bit of cultural exchange between the two nations. They got a little bit of mix of both. And then if you really were
one of the problems right now is that the red states tend to put in way more take way more out of the federal government than they put in terms of like their tax base and shit. So I think in a lot of ways, infrastructurally, the South would be in for a rude awakening, but obviously don't really fucking place much emphasis on that anyway.
So would the North. I mean, it would be an adjustment for both, right? If we're talking about drawing on the Mason-Dixon line or whatever the fuck, right? And just having those states. And I mean,
there's a number of states that didn't even really like.
You remember all that big empty in Texas we were talking about?
Yeah.
Guess where they've got the fucking all the land that they could ever want or need to build a new fucking manufacturing fucking haven. You know what I mean? Like it's just like a lot of it is just because we're so codependent as states and shit that You know, states like Texas have all this really fucking premium land for that type of shit, but it's so huge that they can't fill it. You know what I mean? Well, you suddenly divide the country up in two, basically, and now Texas has a real reason to start filling up that land and expanding its, you know what I mean? I really think the South wouldn't be in as bad, but I do agree they'd struggle, but I think the North would too, honestly. I mean, it wouldn't be an easy. It would have to be a careful separation. You know what I mean? But if it was done in such a way that it didn't limit freedom of travel on the continent and shit, and there was free trade between us and all that shit, and maybe even, you know, we kept real close military, you know, allyship with them to the best of our ability. You know, presuming. You know,
I think but it's so unlikely that we're gonna cut the country in half like that anymore. I mean, like, because I think a lot of the Midwest and the flyover states. Well,
here's a debate.org discussion of should the USA be split into multiple different countries. 88% say yes, 12% say no.
Well, I've heard talk that like you know,
apparently
California,
I don't know,
Oregon, and Washington
people are involved
right?
in this discussion, but
so I've actually had long. Oh, sorry, Scotty, you got stepped on by TJ or both of us there, I think.
Oh no, I was just saying like that. Like, what about the West Coast? We're talking about North and South, but that's another element. Like, obviously, I don't think they would want to be aligned with the South, but they might want to do their own thing. Like, because California has a huge power just by itself economically.
Yeah, like I've seen the what was it? What number was it?
Like
I can't remember.
Or something.
It's like Cascade. Yeah, it's like the Pacific Northwest in California is its own state, its own country. And then the inland parts on the east side of the Rocky Mountains become its own country for a block, like the Wisconsin kind of fucking Kansas, that kind of, you know, where it's a lot of farming and very sparsely populated becomes its own thing. And then like the South, Texas and a couple of the other southern states become its own thing. And then Florida and some of the eastern southern states become its own thing. And then the Atlantic Northeast, like Maine and New York, that all becomes its own blob of shit. You know what I mean? I've seen things carved up. And so here's the thing. As I see it, you can look at this in two different ways, right? You can say, oh, that's balkanization. I think I even saw one dude say, oh, it makes us ripe for military invasion. Well, only if we don't have some kind of a military compact like the EU does for mutual defense.
I feel like if you fucking did this, like if this was like to be discussed as a possibility, I think there'd have to be like some kind of like 100-year treaty or some shit, you know, that was like, okay, like for 100 years, we all guarantee like we're not going to do this thing and we're going to do these things, but, you know, as far, you know, like, so there had to be some kind of like agreement during the split, you know.
Well, like the EU, like, look, it actually is a good template for what could happen in the United States. We've actually got a larger land mass than the EU, and we're less stratified in terms of like how we're divided up in terms of that land mass. So we could chunk this out in a way that would allow these very regional differences. And a lot of these differences exist in other places in the country, but are very concentrated in places like the South or the Pacific Northwest. So it would allow people options to move to those places where they feel most suit them, right? And to get out of these other countries and to become citizens. There have to be some kind of allotment for that if you're going to divide a country up. You can't just like force people to become citizens of a country that they just happen to have no money to live on. So there'd have to be some provision that would accept, you know, people from this country to that country and let it equalize and let people kind of find their footing. But yeah, like if there was like a trade agreement and a mutual defense compact and stuff, this could work. Like, why not? Like, it's a crazy fucking idea to think about, but in actual terms, we may end up seeing something like the balkanization of the United States. Carving up the United States into regional governments that are more responsive to regional needs and regional political leadings.
Yeah, you know, America's been compared to Rome on more than one occasion, and like this is something that happened in Rome,
of course. Before it led to the current state of the European continent. Exactly, the fall of Rome led to that kind of stratification of the European people, and all of the old, you know, kind of feudal tribal kind of societies coalesced and formed their own little countries, and then those countries eventually came together with mutual defense compacts and allies, and learned that it was better not to war amongst themselves most of the time.
But that took hundreds of years of war.
No. Let's go over that speed bump. Oh yeah, there was some wars, and then
there's wars. A few wars happening. The history of Europe is
it all turned out all right. All's well that ends well. You know how it is.
It all shook out in the wash, Scotty, is what I'm saying. You know,
I think the biggest fear we would have with balkanization of the U.S. is I think you have some powers that would basically be very much, militaristic, like the South. I think you'd see that, like that definitely would rise. And maybe even if the North was like, we're cool with you, we don't have any problems, like we want free trade and all that, it's not long before they're gonna like, you know what, they've got this on that side of the border. Let's go.
There would definitely have to be a redistribution of military bases and stuff, because like you'd have to equalize military might and maintain some kind of like military budget alliance that keeps spending on mutual defense at a certain level and spending on outside defense.
That's why I would say
level.
like if this was going to happen, that's at least successfully, there would have to be like many years of negotiation to fucking really make sure every fucking I was dotted and T was crossed.
Yeah, for sure. The same was true of the EU. I mean, if you do this quickly and violently, then yeah, there's going to be war. But the same thing was true for the EU. The EU as a concept took years and years to finally get passed and finally get implemented and all of that shit. But it actually, worked to the mutual benefit of most of the people that live in the EU. I'm not talking about like the economic implications of it. I don't want to get in that fucking argument with you. But I'm talking about, the average person that lives in the European Union is freer to travel and trade between, nations in the EU. It's easier for them to get on a train and just go wherever they want.
Europe, I mean, it was just like,
they can move countries, Paul.
And they can move goods too. It's like they're their own country, but Italy doesn't have to pay a huge fucking import tax when it moves a bunch of steel or a bunch of grapes or something to France or whatever. All that shit is just like because you're all in it together. So I think something like that could work in the United States, and I think it would like tamp down that kind of tension that you're talking about, because like if it was carefully militarily equalized,
here's
and
the thing,
a mutual defense compact was signed and shit, I don't think the militarism of the South would be a problem for anybody that wasn't living in the South.
I foresee a lot of the red states having like formerly red states, like the southern region having like pretty lax environmental standards and stuff too.
I mean, make no bones about it, California has a lot of fucking air bases and naval air bases and fucking coastal Navy bases and fucking Army bases and shit. So like, it's not like these things, these elements don't exist. This militaristic thing is all over the United States. There are nuke silos dotted all over the United States. There are military.
That'd be another thing that would have to be settled, is like if we became a bunch of different states, like what happens to all of our foreign assets and shit? Like that would have to be fucking decided.
That would have to be settled up. And see, that's a trillion. That's trillions upon trillions of debt that would have to be like split up between these nations, and that would be fucking. Like, you're right, dude. That would be. So
there would be a lot of logistical nightmares.
That had to happen. That had to happen.
Here's the thing I think appeals to about people is like you look at this kind of scenario, and it almost seems like people are tired of incrementalism. People see this as a way like we can have our way, these people can have their way. Maybe this is just better than having this ongoing national fucking discourse.
It's almost like we're talking about on a larger
tension is
like
ratcheted up, and like it seems more and more like people are on totally different ends and shit. I'm sorry, Scotty. Go ahead.
No, so it's almost like you're talking about like something akin to like a city state. It's like we have this city state, we have this one. Obviously, we're talking about countries. I mean, would it be possible? I think it would be, but I mean, it would be so difficult to ever make something like that happen.
We're talking more like nation. We're talking more like nation states. But yeah, I mean, it's like the Roman model, though. Yeah, I get what you're saying too with the city states model. It's like, every little city state is allowed to have its own laws within a certain parameter, but everybody pays tribute to the fucking.
Look at Italy before it became a country. It was basically like that, like the kingdom of Naples. You know what I mean? Venice.
What do you guys think about like a benevolent fucking monarchy overseeing all of this instead of a federal government, and the allowance of like independence of law, but overseen by a monarchy
I think the benevolent monarchy idea is appealing, but the problem is, how do you ensure that the monarchy remains benevolent? Like, because if there's nothing over,
if you're
able to give it oversight,
right? If you're modernizing the idea of monarchy, though, and I'm not a monarchist, by the way. I don't want people in the chat fucking flipping out and saying, "Oh, I'm fucking done with Paul. Now he's a monarchist. Done." No, I'm just having a fucking freeform conversation here, and we're talking fucking.
Yeah, we're
talking about esoteric possibilities, right? We're spitballing. So let's just say, say this benevolent monarchy was a good idea. Well, a lot of people would be alarmists and say, well, look at how monarchies, like some kings were fucking known for their gregariousness and how they made the lives of their people better. But then their child would come along and he was known for how cruel he was. And how do we keep that from happening? And it's like, well, I don't think it's necessarily like completely stupid to look at the past. But I do think it's completely stupid to think that the idea of a benevolent dictatorship or a benevolent monarchy being able to work, it won't work because it was tried in feudal times and it didn't work back then. It's like
I just think that idea. You have to take some measure. There has to be something you do to alter it to like counter that happening, though. You know, like what kind of mechanism would you put in place to keep it benevolent?
So keep each one of these states that's underneath the king in control of the military, and the king is in control of everything else. The economy, the fucking overarching laws, the edicts that affect everybody in all of the nation states, right? But keep these nation states independently, mutually responsible for the upkeep of the military, and keep that power stratified within the military structure.
I think that in order to preserve that sort of thing, you'd have to have a military where the king was allowed to keep a military large enough to defeat a rogue nation state, but not powerful enough to defeat the combined might of all the nation states.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's exactly the point. Is like and once again, the king would have a seat at the war table.
Right.
But the king would not be the one to make the edict. We go to war here. We go to war there. That would be, left to the nations and their representatives that are sent. Some parliament kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So you leave some power in the people's hands. Obviously, this is giving a lot of power to the people because you're allowing these regional governments to exist under a monarchy that's benevolent.
Globalism.
Well, globalism. This would be the opposite of globalism, because this would be taking an existing country and putting more borders.
Globalism, TJ. It's fucking backdoor globalism, TJ.
You're keeping if you can
backdoor globalism.
That really is the trick to this, though. Can you keep the monarchy benevolent with a check and balance on its power, but still stay out of the way of it enough for it to be beneficial and not just a ceremonial monarchy like they have in the UK?
I think I think you're probably better off having something like a council with fucking representatives.
Oh, you mean those people that routinely got murdered back in the fucking days of kings?
I mean, monarchs got murdered plenty of times.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're trying to avoid, right? The downsides to this, the Game of Thrones concept. So maybe what's the
that's what I'm saying is I think as long as you have a king, there's always this I could be on the throne. I could be on the throne.
How do you pick the king after that
I think
point?
that if each region had its own ruler and they kind of all sat on a council together,
there has to be a king, though. There has to be somebody that can make the overarching fucking, because if it comes down to it, what if everybody says, nay, we shan't do it, and then everything falls to shambles because nobody will work together? It's like the Braveheart. Unite them. Unite the clans. Bring them together. They will follow you, Robert the Bruce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People need a leader psychologically.
They need to have. Exactly. That's why I invoked the Braveheart. Because that's really the speech that he gives.
Because otherwise, it's just gonna be infighting between all the fucking little groups. There has to be some kind of final deciding authority.
Yeah, exactly. You remember William Wallace goes to Robert the Bruce and he says, "Look, I can lead the military, but I cannot do this fucking boardroom shit. These people need a king. They need someone they can believe in, and you are that, and you need to be that, and you need to back me. You stop all this squabbling, stop all this infighting, unite the clans, and become that head man that sits at the head of the fucking table," or head person, I guess, in modern parlance, since we're talking about a modern, possible futuristic idea here. You got the head person sitting at the table that keeps the peace, that is the glue that kind of keeps these nation states from being obstinate and going, nay, 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 nay.
But then we're kind of like, I don't know. I feel like we're kind of getting back to the
maybe it rotates.
Problem of
maybe that's how the monarchy happens.
Right.
The king is elected on a rotating basis between these countries in a cyclical, fucking never-ending spiral that never ends. So it's like, oh yeah, and it's kept benevolent, obviously, by the fact that we've separated it out with this council that you're talking about, right? And we've given them the balance of the military power. So if the king is fucking like Mad King George and he goes, everyone must let me fuck their wife, then the council gets together and goes, this king is fucked. Like, let's move the clock to the next area and give them their it's that king's chance, or queen, or ruler, or emperor, or whatever we call it, right? That president.
I feel like you're running the risk of like another problem with because like part of the problem right now is that we have these rotating presidents and shit.
Well, here's the thing.
People, it just like that's like people are just gonna be divided over that, and then you might. Then you have entire regions that are like, we're ruled by this fucking foreign king, and he ain't representing our interests. He's up there doing all kinds of crazy shit that's totally against our values. This isn't what we signed up for. Fuck this alliance.
That is the check and balance against the king being. See, that's what we're talking about. If the king is benevolent, remember, we're talking about a benevolent monarchy, or a benevolent emperor, or a benevolent dictator, or whatever you want to call it, right? However we name it. So what keeps that benevolency? See, when he becomes non-benevolent, that means trampling upon the individual rights of those different countries in a way that is unreasonable, right? And if he does that to the chagrin of enough of those nation states, then he's deposed. And he really can do nothing about it other than put up a pitiful attempt at fucking fighting back, because the balance of the military power is in the hands of the council.
Right.
That's what, and the rotating king that goes through each nation state. So he gets 6 years as king, and then or maybe he serves for life, but it's like when that king dies, the next king goes clockwise to the next nation state and has to come from there. Maybe within the nation states there is a little bit of Game of Thrones about who gets to sit the throne, but once they're on the throne, their ass is under the gun. If they don't please or do their best to please everybody and make life better for all of these nation states and be the glue that holds it together.
I'm asking you this: how can, like, the policy? Here's the difficult thing, because like you're saying, those policies. So let's say you have like in our country,
right?
The Southern District just hates all these decisions. Oh, these are terrible decisions. We don't like these decisions. Like, what decisions can you possibly make? They're going to please all these disparate groups. That's like the rub.
Because then you're right back to square one.
The libertarian decision. Like, the monarchy is in place to keep us on point when it comes to like climate change or mass problems and shit. But when it comes to cultural differences, like what taxation, and blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing, like within that country, because there's already a federal government and the South pays its fucking federal taxes just like everybody else does.
Sure.
So it's like, that's just a transfer. It's no different there. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul, either way. But within that state, how taxes flow within that nation state, leave that up to the fucking nation state. They want to have a tax haven kind of nation state. Let them fucking run it how they want.
You're talking about a few select areas,
and only take over things that nobody's going to bitch about, like monarchize or whatever the international travel, so that all the roads are always beautiful and all of that shit comes from the fucking taxes that you pay to the monarchy, right? And have the monarch oversee the upkeep and the distribution of labor and the building and how to spread the money that will come from that labor that's created, upgrading and constantly renewing our travel system and making sure it's all very fast and efficient and quick, and that everybody can get where they need to go quick. You know what I mean? Like, who would bitch about that?
Nobody.
If the federal right, like even the fucking Southern people would drive those roads and fucking love it and brag about how their roads are great. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, that's how that's my answer to your question. I know it's a little bit fucking broad, and it doesn't really answer the entirety of it, but those are the types of decisions I see being left up to the monarchy. The stuff that affects us all when we're traveling within, so like trade between the states, making sure that remains free and open, making sure that remains something where opportunity isn't squandered on these, giant companies or something. The monarchy is there to break that up and make sure that these giant companies don't swallow up all of the nation states and create another fucking gambling casino of an economy, right?
Well, yeah, you basically just want an intervening force that can't be really, for the most part, I guess very difficult. It'd be very difficult, if possible, to remove from power that can make the decision. Like, so if like the science says this, like, oh, climate change is fucked up. It's not like one group says, well, we don't like that. We think climate change is a hoax, and we should be able to keep polluting and do whatever we want. You're saying then you want an authority to come in and say, nope, you're wrong. This one issue, you can't really make that decision.
Right. And who's going to complain about that? Because the people that live in those neighborhoods are choking on the fumes from that, and they see all the sludge in their streams and shit. And so when that's all cleaned up, like even in the South, they're not going to be like, no, man.
And
you know what I mean?
Dude,
it's just like
take it back to Alley. Baton Rouge is like Cancer Alley, dude. All this industrial stuff, all these chemicals, like people are like, even around here, like they wanted to build an arsenic factory in this area.
Right.
And people are like, no, 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 no. It's like, so it's not just like I agree with you. I think if you actually really look at these issues and people actually know about what's going on, and it's like, do you want these dangerous toxic chemicals around you or your family? They're like, no.
And there's plenty of land. Like I just drove through fucking like hours and hours of empty nothing. You know what I mean? And it's like all of that shit could be made out in the middle of fucking nowhere, out away from us. And I'm talking about the perpetuation of something that I don't even believe in here. So you can tell that this, like, I think civilization itself is fucking doomed, because this still doesn't answer a lot of the problems of civilization. It answers a lot of the social problems that we face. Access to medical care, etc. Like if the South wants to have shit medical care, well, I guess they get to have shit medical care, but you could always move out of the South. You know what I mean? Like, or that's just something that the monarchy oversees and makes sure is free and easily accessible in all of these nation states, so that there's who's going to bitch about that? Like down South, if you could just all of a sudden no more medical bills. All of a sudden when mom dies of cancer, you don't get a bill from the fucking hospital she died in. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna be like, man, I miss the good old days when mama died and they sent you a $52,000 bill for her death in addition to the funeral costs. You know what I mean? You keep that shit in check, and then let these like cultural fucking things, let them be regional. That's the whole point of splitting this thing up in the first place, is allowing these different levels of Overton window to coexist on the same giant continent, but somehow keep it cohesive enough that we can still trade with one another. And like, I think having a head kind of person that oversees the whole thing is kind of necessary, but defederalizing might be a good idea. You know, I don't know. Who knows?
Who fucking knows? Here's a proposal to split it into 7.
Yeah, I've seen this.
There's different ones here. That's
dude, let's have, I have a different vision. See all those.
This person says it should be 13. I like 13. That's a lucky number.
So you can go back to that. Okay, this one's fine. All these fucking territories, they just fight it out. Whoever's left standing gets the country.
Well, I mean, that's probably what's going to happen, honestly, eventually. The coming resource wars will probably shake out that way. It'll be the United States united against the world. And then if we end up
they just keep Texas, they're just like, Texas just stays Texas, whatever.
Well, I mean, it's big enough and culturally diverse enough and unique enough to be its own fucking region. So why the fuck not? I think California honestly should be its own region, although this is taking into account the inland parts of California that I'm from being very, very different from the northern and southern parts of the state. So I think that California honestly needs to be its own country. California is like the third biggest economy in the world on its own.
3 ways here.
No, I wouldn't break up California in any way, shape, or form, because it doesn't make any fucking sense to do so, in my opinion. The people,
well, according to this guy,
like if you want to know a microcosm of the problem that you were talking about earlier, where tiny, like sparsely populated areas of land are given like way more political power than they should have. California has that same problem. All of those areas that you see that are like beige in California on that map, those are like the more conservative areas of California. And it's like, it's also the most sparsely populated part of California. Like Death Valley's in there, and fucking like all of the farmland and shit where I'm from is in there. Here's one that breaks it up into
different 3 ways.
That would see. I like this one better, but I still dislike the idea of breaking up the California as it exists. But this one I like better than the other one, because it really, like, I think this is a better representation of the dividing lines in California.
Dude, we would all New France.
We get Mexico too.
Yeah.
Northern Mexico.
El Norte.
There's New France. There's the Deep South. There's this would be part of the Spanish Caribbean, I guess. Tidewater, New Netherland, the Midlands, Yankeedom, more New France up here. I guess New France continues. Like where we would become New France, Southern Alaska. I don't know.
This map, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah,
this is a very strange division.
I don't know. I like the way
that it's from Business Insider. This isn't a proposal for them. This is what they're saying actually exists culturally in America. This is what they believe.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense.
So they're not actually. This is not a proposal to split the country into this. This is just them saying like this is like the actual cultural regions that exist in America.
I know. I agree with most of this based on that then, because of the regions I've been to. Yeah, this is pretty much how you like around the New Orleans area is definitely different than the rest of the South. Because like when you go to Mississippi or northern Louisiana is different than down here. Like this is a unique place all its own. Like Taylor thought when she moved down here that was like, oh, it's about the same. It's not. It's just a culturally different area. That's why you see that little sliver down there.
Damn it! It fucking what? It blocked me all of a sudden.
You better sign up, boy. You've looked at enough, TJ.
Well, I guess I can't.
Try risk-free, TJ. It's risk-free. You want to sign up?
Sorry,
email,
boy.
TJ.
No can do. You've read enough. You want to keep reading, you better pay. We need to start doing that with our videos. Like that we release to the plebs. Like just have it stop right mid-sentence. And then you guys won't believe this. See how well that goes over with people.
They're gonna love it.
Oh, they're gonna love that shit. They're gonna love that shit. I'm sure.
Fucking love
We've been talking for about 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's probably good enough, right?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. See, that's why I like these triple threat episodes, because I was worried that we weren't gonna have enough to talk. I'm always worried that we're not gonna bring topics that are gonna fill enough time, but this one went like fucking super long. That's cool.
Yeah,
it's a longin'. Boy, it's a longin'.
Well, yeah, that's cool. Anything else you want to add before we go there, TJ? You're usually the one that pieces us the fuck out. You wanna do an old piece the fuck out for us, TJ? You still got it in you? Can you summon 2011 TJ? I'm full screening you.
It's washed up.
I'm full screening you. He's in there, TJ.
You're full screen, TJ. Call forth, TJ.
He's in there.
Summon.
He's in there. He's in there.
We believe in you, TJ. Peace.
Get that finger down. Get him down there. Yeah, there you go.
Fuck.
Yes. You're almost there, TJ. You're almost there. Come on, you can do it.
TJ.
Don't give up.
Believe in it, TJ.